Hey, good evening. This is Rusty from Stunthangar, and this is the Stunthangar video chat, Friday night, April 17th, 2020. And welcome. I have the links posted in all the usual places, and if you check in about 10 seconds, the thread will be up in the at the bench thread, and bang, there it goes. Okay, so if you want to come in with your camera and microphone, the thread just popped up in the at the bench thread, and that's on the main stunthanger.com forums page. Scroll down underneath the main open forum. You'll see the at the bench thread. Click the link there, and if you prefer to come in and surf in anonymity with your YouTube, you can go to the Stunthanger YouTube page and watch us live on the screen there and use the video chat to communicate with us. We'll try to talk to you there. And there's a super chat $sign underneath the chat box. If you'd be so inclined, you can donate us a little bit of money for Sparky's server fees if you click that button. And that goes to everything Sparky does to keep us on the air and live, and server fees paid, equipment for all of the events he goes to and records and sends to us. And so, anyway, welcome to the show. I see we got a couple of visitors already. The video guys beat the YouTube guys in for once tonight. Got Tom Rammel and Mike Lanke, and got good pictures on both of you. Had to try a couple of times to get a good stream, but looks like we got it. And I apologize for Monday night. The storms that came through screwed the internet up all over town. Everybody's was in and out for 2 days, and by Wednesday we finally had a steady stream, and it was just in and out. It must have brought a lot of limbs down. We're looking good now, and so is Mike. He's got a green signal bar. About that, must be on the Chromebook again.
Yeah.
As usual, Tom and me have a red signal bar, but we'll
Still,
do what
still
we
how to
can.
flip my camera back around. I got my damn camera flipped around last week, and now I can't get it to go back the right way. So every time I move, it's screwing me up.
Oh, yeah. You lift your hand. It's like looking in the mirror in the wrong.
That's left. That's
wrong
right.
thing. Yeah,
How do I?
I've done that on mine before too. It's in
Yeah.
the settings, in the camera settings, but you just have to dick around with it and find it. That's funny. Mine's done that to me before, though. Anyway, so what y'all been doing all week? It got cold here. What, chilly? Cold for spring.
We're supposed to get some warm weather tomorrow. It's supposed to get up to 60 in Minnesota, which is
That's a treat. Yeah, that's a treat in Minnesota. I reckon Nashville's cooler than Columbia, but it's supposed to get up to, I think, the mid 70s tomorrow and maybe 80 by Sunday. It got up into the upper 70s here in Columbia today. Hey, Charles. Speaking of warm weather,
Hey guys.
how you doing tonight?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're just getting in a groove, so glad you came and joined us.
Let me try and share a picture. See if I can.
Good luck.
It'll work.
We'll try it and see.
Let's
It
see.
might. When I was reading comments about Jitsi, not Jitsi, but 8x8, both actually, and a lot of people on different shows like this tell us that when they do screen shares, then their microphones and cameras start turning on and off. So that's just something we have to learn to deal with, I guess. But see what you can do. Now, where are the YouTubers tonight?
Okay, I'm trying to share a photo, see if that works.
So far, so good. I don't see a photo yet, but mine's always slow to show it. But you are surrounded by a green border. Okay, here's the little icon. No picture yet, but it appears to be coming.
It's trying.
Here it's
It shows up on mine, but I don't know.
It's got a heartbeat now. Oh, that's when you talk. It
Okay.
does that. Its heart beats when you talk. It must love you.
It's taking a long time.
Yeah.
Must have a bad connection.
Well, one of these days, I'm going to go out and buy me a computer that is up to the job of everything that I could possibly want to do with it at that time. Of course,
This-
it'll be obsolete. It'll be obsolete 6 months later, but at least for
This-
6 months, I'll have an up-to-date computer.
This computer is very fast. I don't think it's the computer. I think it's just the connection.
Well, I got way more connection speed than I have to the video conference, but I don't think I have enough graphics capability, and I think I need another 8 gig of RAM on board. I got 8 gigs on the motherboard. It's an HP bundle type PC. It's got an AMD quad chip. It's about 4 or 5 years old.
This one's, my computer has 8 cores, and
Wow.
the video card is the latest. The video card cost almost as much as a computer.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, your internet connection might be your bottleneck. It's different with different systems.
So it's still not coming up, huh?
Nah, why don't we give up on it for a little while,
All right.
and you can tell us what it is if you want to.
It's my smoothie is I have the some yellow trim on the navy blue now on the smoothie.
Oh,
Oh, very good.
I've never used yellow on a plane, but I did buy some yellow paint. I forget what color. I think it's Cub yellow, something like that.
Maybe I should just go get the airplane and bring it in here and use the camera.
There we go. Yeah.
That'd be a heck of a
The
lot
old
better.
technology.
I'll be right
That's
back.
my favorite way to do show and tell, anyway. Oh, hey, John
Hey, John.
and Gary. I didn't see John and Gary both popped in while we were waiting for Tom's picture to not
Oh,
show up.
How y'all
Hey,
doing?
Gary.
So far, so good. How about you, man? You all right?
Yeah, still breathing, still kicking.
Good. Your spirits good?
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Under the circumstances is the way I usually answer that question. Under the
Yeah,
circumstances,
well, you know,
pretty damn good, I guess.
I'm getting used to the concept. You know,
That looks
Yeah.
you
really
got to
nice.
move on.
There's
It
Tom's
Does look
plane.
nice, Tom.
Everybody can click on Tom's little box there and make him big if you want to. I'm going to switch to grid view. Oh, that is sharp. I love the red head in there, the looks of it anyway. I've never actually owned a
Oh, that looks
McCoy.
good.
Oh,
That looks great.
That does look good.
the thing with the McCoy Redhead is you don't run them screaming hot because they'll burn up.
Yeah,
You
that's
do
what I
run
heard.
you do run about 26 to 27% caster. You could run 24 and run the rest in a little bit of synthetic to help keep it clean.
Yeah.
And you run them just about. They run really good in a 4.24 brake.
Hey, you get what you get. Back in the day, it was a $5 engine and a bubble pack that kids bought to put on their Sterling Ringmasters and stuff, right?
But you know, it was a very well designed engine. It really ran well. It ran, in my opinion. I had one back in the day. In my opinion, they ran better than a Fox. They started easier too.
Yeah.
This one's going to have to be broken in. It's never been run.
I think the
Wow.
metallurgy is just inconsistent. Oh,
But
really?
Well,
never
it's a
I'm
been
going to
bit-
have
put
to
it
get
on the
some
bench, huh?
castor oil fuel because I don't have any. I just checked today to see if I had any.
Well, you can get from SIG. You can get a bottle of castor, and it needs the castor because it has a mehanite piston, and actually the castor actually penetrates into that mehanite to a degree and forms a coating on that piston that keeps it working properly, keeps it in compression and all of that things. And if you don't burn it off, it'll last a long time. But if you burn it off, it won't last 10 minutes.
It weighs 38 ounces. It weighs 38 ounces.
38.
And it's 501 square inches.
38 ounces is a great.
It's a really old kit, so it probably has some really good bolts in it.
And Tom, Klotz is having a 20% off sale right now. So if you want, you can get some castor from Klotz, Binol, I think it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they call it, Binol.
20% off. And I'm not sure, it might be free shipping too. I'm not sure. I know it's 20% off.
We got a long thread. We've had a long thread going on Cox Engine forums all week about fuel availability, and SIG's not shipping. They're taking orders, but back ordering. And finally, the guy from Fitz Fuels popped in and said, "Sorry, he's been down for a while, but he's in production now, and his website's busted, so he's on eBay, Fitz FITZ Fuels, and I don't know if he's got stunt fuel, but he's definitely making half A and probably down to maybe 15, might be making 10 or 15%, varying amounts of castor, but he also started off selling the mix of the original Cox fuel, which was mostly all castor, and just think it had 2% of some kind of a DuPont synthetic in it, and it would come in 25 and either 30 or 35% for half A's nitro, and so that's going to be available. Which I was interested in that because I'm getting back into half A a little bit. When I start flying, that's what it's going to be, and all I've got is a little bit sloshing around in the bottom of a couple of old jugs, and I don't even want to run that if I don't have to.
If you need custom fuel mixed, S&W fuel will mix anything you want.
And Ken Cook says Rich's Brew is still going, so you got to call them on the phone, but they'll mix you anything you want, I think.
If you want Stan's number at S&W, I can give everybody his number.
Yeah, can you type it into the, or just tell us either way?
Pen, you want to take it down? It's 610-252-2024. 610-252-2024. And that's for Stan. He'll answer the phone. Anything you want.
The other thing is too is that Brodak is shipping, and Brodak fuel is S&W. It's great fuel. And S&W has been around. Hell, I was using their fuel in the 80s.
Yeah.
This
the house I'm sitting in right now was built by Stan Rauch. This is the guy who owns S&W. He was into construction too.
Oh, okay.
He built my house, and I still actually talk to him.
That's pretty good.
When I got in, back when I restarted my hobby and started flying half A, the fuel I found was called Glow Plug Boy, and it was a fellow that flew in Houston, and his club actually flew at the Johnson Space Center property, and he made good fuel for half A's. I'm not sure what else. I think he made it for stunners too, but I was buying it from him for a couple of years, and he passed away, unfortunately. And Fitz bought all of his equipment and the rights to the fuel, and it took him a year or two to get rolling. but then he started making fuel, and he sent several of us guys that are in the half A circles out some test fuel, and we all ran it, and it's extremely good running fuel. So I got no problems with that. And so he probably, it's fitzfuels.com, but he probably has stunt fuel too.
So, John, do you
10% fat.
think 10% nitromethane would be good for the McCoy Redhead?
Oh, absolutely. I used to run 5, but 10,
Five?
10's fine. Thing
Okay.
I
when you
think it'll
break it in, this is an old classic engine. So when you break it in, you can't put it on your airplane and run it once or twice on the ground and then throw it up in the air. You could, but you may have, not the best.
Yeah.
It's one of those where you want to sit down and you want to do 2 minutes. Put a decent prop on it. What would you suggest, Bob? A 10.4 or a 9.6?
Yeah, 9, even a 9.5. You don't want to put any load on it. You just want to get the piston going. So I would run a fairly fast 4-cycle or a low, not just breaking into a 2-cycle, but run a low load prop on it.
I have the instruction sheet that came with the McCoy, and it says run the 9.6 for break-in.
Yeah,
Before you
would be okay.
Is this a 35?
Yes.
Now, this is what I was told by Gary Lutz, and he still runs McCoys. And the ones he has are really old. He said he's had them for 30-some years, runs them all the time. But he said that what his dad and him found out, or I don't know who taught him, but they took a file and you knock the sharp edge off the flat of the piston, just because he says it's so sharp it's like a chisel, and it'll actually wear, if it overheats it all or whatever, it'll shave the inside of the cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And
they just got a radius around the corner.
Right, they just
of the top.
radius that really sharp edge there, and they said that solves the problem. And he said that he's had his for 30 years, and he runs them all the time.
You probably have to run probably need a lot of caster too, just like a Fox.
Yeah, he runs the right fuel in them. But he said that they discovered that way back when.
Yeah.
If
Makes sense.
Your radius edge just a little bit on a brand new engine. It'll
lots of caster, and I'd say a couple of percent of synthetics probably not a good idea to keep it from getting overly varnished too. And it doesn't. I don't think that hurts anything at all to put a little synthetic in just for that purpose.
I remember when I was running
here when I showed this. I got all the graphics on it.
Oh yeah!
Wow, yeah.
That's a neat looking plane.
I remember when I was running my 35s, I used to have to, I was running them a lot, but I used to have to decoke the top of the cylinder at least once or twice a summer. And they just get all loaded up with this black sooty grain stuff on the top. And that's why I think, I think that's why you'd want to run a couple percent of synthetic to help just keep that cleaned up.
Yeah, I think so. Now, if it's a black coke, like you call it, coke and varnish are two different things, and I'm not sure I associate that with the castor oil or not. It could be something about the ignition and the glow plug combination, or I don't know what you could do about that, if that's really what it is.
So,
I
Mike,
always thought
you
it was-
dying hair?
Huh?
I was asking Lonky if he was dyeing hair.
I think he's frozen up.
He's grooming Emma.
Yeah, I'm stripping hair right now. We're dyeing it tomorrow, but I'm stripping it so that the dye will hold.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
What color she get?
So we do this for summer vacation. She likes to have a little color, and it's going to be like bright red. And they've canceled school for the rest of the year, so we're going to go ahead because she can't have this in school. So we only do it during the summer. But since they're out early, we're doing it.
Oh, okay.
Wait till you see Sam. Sam wants blue hair. So I'm going to strip his tomorrow, and he's going to get blue hair this summer.
Sam wants to be
I
noticed.
just like to have
I like
hair.
to let him have a little fun during the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Bob?
What's that?
I said I just like to have hair.
How about it? Yeah.
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 Red, blue, or whatever, you know.
I got kind of beigeish hair here, you know.
Several
I
of us
did too.
resemble that remark.
Yes, we do. Remember, the grass does not grow on a busy street, but
That's right.
it doesn't grow in a billiard ball either. So
I was always told that a man who's bald here in front, well, he thinks, you know, he thinks a lot. The man who's bald in the back, he's sexy. Now the man who's bald from the front to the back,
thank
he
you.
just thinks he's sexy.
Kind of telegraphed that one.
Yeah, I did.
It's funny.
Can I show you guys the airplane I'm working on?
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this a little bit so I can show it to you. This is
Yeah,
the
Sam's rod.
restyling of the Humbug. This is a profile version of the Humbug.
Oh, yeah,
20 minutes.
you did show it. That was
Rinse it up.
cool.
Yeah, but I got
Oh, you got it together. That's looking really good, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the way you did the fuselage.
Boy, that's got some.
I can't see it.
It's got a hell of a stab on it.
All I see
There
is
you
this
go.
BH.
That's a good picture.
Well, that was the thing about the
Click on
Humbug. It had a
it.
huge stabbing elevator.
Actually, I got a picture of it. I could probably do a screen share. It'd be better.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
All
All right.
Bob.
Like before.
What's that?
Here, you can.
I popped you up to full screen.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to find a way to do this better.
One thing about it is that
It's got a screen.
if you get tired of stunt, you could always go into combat with that stab.
That went over like a Led Zeppelin.
Let's see.
We didn't have much luck screen sharing a little while ago when Tom wanted to show.
Well, let me give it a
So
shot.
he got it.
Oh, I got something to show too. I gotta go get it. Be right back.
Okay, we're going to do this.
I got a Philly
Oh,
Flyers
he's doing
hat like
that.
that.
I got my stooge put together.
That work?
Very nice.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's showing.
Oh, wow.
That's the profile version. I have a built-up version too. You know, this has got the 210 carbon matte applied right over the foam using thinned type bond,
There it is.
and that's all it gets. It's ready to fly except for landing gear, you know, and hook it up to control. That's how it's going to be,
Wow.
just like that. And right there with the motor, with it's 500 square inches with the motor and the spinner on. Right now, as it sits, it's 20 ounces
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
on 500
Wow.
square. So it'll be about 32 ounces all up.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
yeah, I'm kind of happy with it, really.
Hey, Bob, let me ask you a
Yeah.
question about that carbon veil. I've been putting it on my flaps for stiffness, and Sparky told me it doesn't do a damn thing for stiffness. He said it's just to keep it from getting dings and dents and fingernail marks. Is that
I think
Is
we're
that your-
going to have to agree to disagree on that.
I disagree on that too.
We're going to have to agree to disagree.
Me too.
You'd think that multi-directional weave, the way it's put together, would give it strength in every direction, and I would associate that with stiffness. So I'll continue to use it.
Well, I talked to that lady from that, what is it, CST or whatever,
Sorry about that.
that makes that. She said, like, for, I guess, linear direction, if you're looking for strength, silk is, or fiberglass is better. the strands go in the one direction you actually want to increase. But for overall, for every direction, that carbon mat outdoes them all.
That's the nose.
I want to stop.
Good.
I want to stop the rear end of my Cardinal from torquing. I've seen them twist as I watch them fly away from me, and so I thought, I put that 7/16 by 1/16 flat bar in it to keep it from wobbling back and forth, and figured the carbon veil would keep it from torquing. That was my hope. That's when Sparky told me it wasn't going to do a thing for that.
And this is how the thing was assembled. I have this double thick corrugated that I buy in sheets for shipping wings, and the edges are dead square. So I made a assembly fixture using the cardboard.
That's
Very
cool.
nice.
That was clever.
It fits perfect. What I did was I made a dummy wing panel. I made a dummy wing panel that was exactly the same as the wing I used in the airplane, and then I cut it right where those cardboard pieces are, and I put a center line at that point on the butt end of what I cut. Put that on the center line on the cardboard that was parallel to the tabletop. Drew it around and then cut it out and slid it on, and that holds the wing dead parallel, the center line of the wing dead parallel to the bench. And then that little end that the tail goes on is also parallel to the bench. So it can't be anything but lined up.
Now, is your motor, the wing, and the tail all in line?
Yeah, it's all in line.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So you use that probably to put your them little things out there that go from the wing to the
the booms. Yeah, they were put out in the fixture too. Yeah.
Very nice, Bob.
Yeah. Thanks.
So when are you gonna fly it?
Bob,
Hopefully this coming week.
Cool.
Bob, you're getting pretty good at this model airplane building.
Yeah, well, we have nothing else to do. We got nothing else to do.
All right, Tom, let's see your stooge.
Here's my stooge I built up this week.
There you go.
Is that Mo?
Is it what?
Is it Mo? It doesn't look like Curly.
Curly, Larry, or Mo.
Or Shemp.
Shump, yeah.
Very nice.
It's a 1/2-inch steel. It weighs 8 pounds.
Oh, good.
That should hold
Good
it
idea.
down.
Did you make yourself some T-bars to drive into the ground?
I just have a hole in the back for a nail.
Yeah. I would use that. I wouldn't count on the 8 pounds to hold it on wet grass.
Yeah, mine's made out of
Yeah, I use a
aluminum. I got
gutter
2
nail.
holes in it, and I run down pins that are about 12 inches long,
Yeah.
walling them up like T's. Put them in the ground. I've never had a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gutter
If it
nails
ever
are
gets
good for that. Get them at low.
if it ever slides around on wet grass, you'll find out what tail heavy really means.
You guys know who Jim Tate is?
No.
He's a flyer from here in York, Pennsylvania. He doesn't fly anymore. He used to fly. He's a good builder. Anyway, he had a stiletto with a Tiger 46 on it, and he had his stooge attached to his flight box. And he was walking the lines out after starting the engine, and he heard the engine unload. The thing had turned the flight box, and it had released, and it was coming.
Oh, no.
And he sidestepped to let it go by, but he didn't let go of the lines. And
Uh-oh.
the lines at the end, it cut his middle finger clean off right at where it meets the hand.
Oh, man.
Clean off. You had to put a tag on it, take it to the hospital, and have it reattached.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So be careful.
Hey, Bob, I was
Yeah.
on out at Pampa, and I see where you had advertised for your Genesis for the planes were $3.50 and 50-cent postage. I thought I'd take you up on a few of them.
$350. That's not right. Where was that?
It's on this Pampa thing that
Well, I have to talk to Chris because he got something wrong.
it was from he posted it was from 1977, but it didn't say that they weren't good anymore.
Oh, Bob, did you walk into that one?
Yeah.
I didn't realize you made so many. A 46-1, a 46-2, a 35-4.
230, actually 335s that were all a little different. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 46s, and then I had the 40s, the swept forward trailing edge ones, which are really what the Crossfire is. It's just a 1980 Genesis with a rudder. That's all it is. You know. I think I got a that.
Hello.
It says here that the Genesis 1976 will be in soon.
Ah, man. 76. Good grief.
I got something in the mail today. I think I told you last time we were here that I won an auction on a McCoy Redhead in 19.
Yeah.
It came in the mail today, and it's a lightning bolt, 19. Pull it where you can see that actually a redhead. Oops. I'll wait.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to pop it up. That's the 80 airplane. That's really a Crossfire. That's what a Crossfire is.
Oh, okay.
Oh. That was in Wilmington in 1980.
Huh.
Sorry about that, John.
That's all right. Anyway, I can't see
That's
much
great.
stuff.
I love your font.
Anyway, there's that. That thing looks like it's brand new.
It does.
And except for somebody took a pair of pliers to the nut. Now, I don't know if that's the nut that it came with or if it's the nut that's holding it. I'm not sure which.
Probably they tried to turn the damn thing over because it was seized up from all the old goop in it.
Yeah.
I get them like that all the time. Then they sell them cheap because they think it's seized.
Yeah. Well, I've got plans for this one.
They use a damn pair of pliers.
Yeah.
How much was that one, Don?
I got plan, huh?
How much was that one?
I think it was about. I think I paid close to $50 on it. Yeah.
Excuse me, let me interrupt. I think Mike just clicked the want to speak button.
Where's he at?
Oh no, just after John's done talking about his McCoy, I'll go.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. I've got a use for this. I'm planning on building that little Ellie, and I'm going to try and see if I can put this in the nose of that airplane. It's designed for a 15 to 25 engine, so anyway, that's enough on that. That's why I bought the darn thing. But I think it came out very nice. Looks like brand new. Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Who was on with us night when after streaming stopped? John was still there, weren't you?
Uh-huh.
You remember me bidding on that Dynajet on eBay?
Oh yeah.
Got it.
So on the live chat, I have that coming off. It's like 1 o'clock. Bid at $91. I put in a bid and I got it for $92.
Wow.
I don't know. You shouldn't end an auction on a weeknight on a Monday night at 12:30 because you're certainly not going to get top dollar for your stuff. But I stole this thing for under $100 and it showed up today. And then I come to find out, you guys may know this guy, some of you. He messaged me, and the guy that sold it was Jim Bacconfuso from Virginia.
He doesn't ring a bell.
Everybody know him?
Not with the Norfolk guys. He's never been.
Well, Rusty, he said he had met us at Huntersville. He said he met us at the Huntersville contest and at Brodax. Yeah,
I bet we'd recognize him if we saw him, but I don't remember the name. Jimmy.
I have a question.
Jim.
a minute ago, Rusty, you said something about they want a speak button on or something.
That's right.
What
Yeah, that was me.
what is that?
Over in the bottom
If you
left
look
of your screen where the screen share button and the message button is, there's a hand with 5 fingers holding it up.
Yeah.
If you want to get a word in edgewise, then click that and you let everybody know you want to talk.
Are we supposed to use that before we talk? I didn't know the protocol.
Well,
No.
sometimes you want to get in a word before the conversation breaks off and add something. If you're having a hard time getting a word in, then click on that. Because occasionally there's so many people talking that you just can't get a chance to say what you want to say. Hey, Denny. So that's what that was.
I wasn't being rude and not using that.
No,
I just do it when I got something to show and I want to be able to cut in and show something. But anyway, latest late night eBay score. I was happy to have it.
Oh, really?
Like
right.
you said, you got several extra tubes.
Speaking of showing, I'll raise my real hand here. When y'all want to show us something, it takes a second for us to go over and click your box so you get big and all that. But it also takes the computer, the internet, a while to lock on the camera, to lock onto your picture. So hold it still for about 3 or 4 seconds before you move it around, instead of just showing us the front and side, top, back. And because it doesn't have time to lock on any of those unless you give it 5 seconds is probably a safe bet if you got a halfway decent connection.
So you're asking us at our age. You're asking us at our age to hold something still.
Well, we
I got one more.
We allow for inconsistencies, Bob.
I got one more now that
unintended inconsistencies.
Speak now,
Dennis
Mike.
is here. I got one more. I've been waiting for Dennis to come on so I can show this one. I got the stringless wonder all done. Finished it up yesterday.
Ah, that's sweet.
Yeah. It was not a very fun build. I forgot how much I hated building stick and tissue with 16-inch balsa strips. Boy, they're very delicate, man. And when you got big old ham fists like this, it's not easy to work with balsa that small. But I got it done, and we'll get it raining.
All right.
Did that come with the tissue?
Anybody there?
You're breaking up some, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it came with everything. Let me turn my camera off, see if that helps. Yeah, it came with everything. Came with the tissue and everything.
Hey, Mike, back to your Dynajet for a minute. You said it wasn't, it looked like a runner, not a short. That I could see the pipe looked like it was discolored, but is it bent or dented or anything like that? Or is it pretty good shape?
It is not bent. It's actually really straight. There are a few dings in it here and there, but I might try to pound them out, but it'll run the way it is. The only thing that's wrong with it is the spark plug ceramic is broken on it, but I got plenty of spark plugs. But everything else is there. The head is there, the locking ring, and the reed retaining valve, those are the important things. And it had a flow ejector and a metering jet in it, so it's complete. I just need to clean it up and reface the head because it's got quite a bit of rust and pitting on it. But some 1000 grit sandpaper to reface the head.
Sounds awesome.
And she'll run. I have no doubt. I probably won't even test run it. I'll put it on an airplane, and I know it's going to start right up. You know,
sure.
Just like the one I got from Charles. I never test ran that engine I got from Charles. I put it on that Tamigo, and the first time I fired it up was the first time I flew. So.
Oh man, I thought there was nobody in the YouTube chat all night. We've even got a whole bunch of people and a contribution from Jack Snavely. So Brad Algra is in there and enjoying the conversation. He's never flown stunt or control line for that matter, but have the utmost respect for stunt pilots and some of the most beautifully designed aircraft of all time. And the detail and craftsmanship that you gentlemen put into these planes is astounding. Thanks, Brad. And also, he's got a bunch of posts here. I used to fly RC at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley, California, and would always wander down the CL to the CL circles at the south end of the field and was blown away by the piloting of these planes. Yeah, some of us, me included, always had to co-fly with RC groups, and they're just drop jawed when they see what a real stunt ship and pilot can do. Let's see. Brad also says there was always an older gentleman there who would smoke a cigar as he flew. I believe he was a big name at the time based on the figures he could fly. You guys may know who that was. And tell us tell us when that might have been, Brad. That might help answer that. And does anybody recognize? Let's see. Park was that at Park? What was it called? Fountain Valley, California. Miles Square Park.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar? A cigar smoker.
Bob Whiteley used to live across the street from there, but I don't recall. I only went there a couple of times, so and I went to a couple of contests. I don't recall seeing somebody smoking a cigar. But that doesn't mean there wasn't somebody there smoking a cigar. You know?
Well, maybe Bob Giesche's pipe was clogged up or something, and he had to borrow it.
Very good.
Now that is Denny gone? Oh, there he's still here.
Yeah,
Denny,
I just turned off my camera. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you're here, I got something else to show. If you've noticed on the Stunthangar forum that there have been a couple of posts made on the CAD forum, and that was basically me and a couple other guys. One of the guys, I think it's Bruce Girton is his name, got on there and was posting that he was had designed or drawn up a ringmaster in 3-dimensional, and he was going to build it. And he made mention that he used the program from Autodesk, which is the same people that make AutoCAD, called Fusion 360 for 3D. And so I read a little bit about it, and one of the things he said got me interested was that it was free for hobbyists. So I went over to the site and checked it out, and son of a gun, he was right. It is free for hobbyists. So I downloaded it and loaded it into my computer and looked around a little bit, but I thought, well, I might be okay on 2D, but 3D looks like I might want to read up a little bit about it.
Yeah.
So I went and looked on Amazon, and I found. Let me see this. This is a textbook. It's used for training in 360, but it's not normally the kind that's used in the classes. This is more for. I think this is more for self-teaching, and they had that at Amazon. I picked that up and it came today. But while I was at it, I got to looking at another one, and it looked like the kind they'd use, at a tech school, and it's quite a bit thicker, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called the Autodesk Fusion 360 Black Book. This is book 1. Okay. And I've kind of glanced through them a little bit. And if you can't learn how to run 360 off of one or the other of these books, then you don't need to be trying to do it at all, I don't think. It's going to be interesting. They have a book 2, and now I think I better order that just to be able to have it. So if anybody's looking to get a start, if they know a little bit about CAD, whether they do or don't, looking to get a start and want to get a good program for basically nothing, because you're a hobbyist, you can try 360. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you
Oh,
wanted
I
to
was
say
just
something.
waving at Bill and Rob. I was just waving at
Okay.
Bill and Rob. They just came in.
So, John,
Hey, guys.
on that,
Well,
that 3D one, can you do
Hey,
2D?
guys.
well, what you do with the 3D one is you do it in 3D, and then you can set it up to print out as a 2D. You can
Okay.
you've got all kinds of options on that. So yeah, it'll work as 2D, but you'll design it in 3D, and then you do what they call um, your views, your different views. Whereas if you made a part, say of a car, not a car, of a box with a couple of holes through it. You in 2D you would do a side view, an end view, and a top view. Right? That's regular orthographic projection. Well, you can do your views in 3D the same way. You can look at it from the side, from the end, and from the top, and there you have your 2D drawing.
Okay.
That all sounds
anyway,
pretty exciting and everything like that. The 3D stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, Denny, you may want to look into it.
Yeah, I was actually I was going to ask you about 2D stuff.
About what?
I got DraftSight Pro on the one computer, and I've been able to use the old version on my other computer, the free version. Well, it stopped working last weekend, so now I got to come up with another. Either got to buy the license won't let you put it on two computers. So my question was, are you aware of any other free 2D solutions that'll let me handle my old draft site stuff on this other computer? You got any recommendation there?
I'm not personally aware of it, but if you want, there have been some mentions made on the CAD forum here recently on that very subject. So you may go and post an inquiry there, and you'll probably get some answers.
Yeah, there was some folks were talking about something called Libra CAD. And then there was another one just called LCAD. And I was wondering if that was, just a short version or, shorthand for this other, and apparently it isn't. But at any rate, I was hoping to get something I could just kind of manipulate my drawings around or move them around a little bit, maybe do a little bit of basic editing, but I'd still use my desktop for all the main work. But just looking for something else that I could do with it. That's all.
Well, doesn't Fusion 360 still work with 2D drawings?
Yeah, you can, from what I'm reading, it appears that you could import 2D drawings into it and work with them that way.
Okay.
I don't know if you'd work with them as a 2D drawing or whether you work with them to create a 3D drawing out of it. I haven't read that far in the book.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
But it does say that you can import in 2D drawings into it.
Okay. So that'd be viable then. How much did your books cost you?
One was like $19, the other was like 20 or 22, 24, something like that.
Okay. Sounds
Does
good.
anyone use that software from EAA that you can download?
Yeah, that's SolidWorks. That's a good one. If you join EAA, you can get SolidWorks for free, and that's probably the Primo 3D. I don't know whether I don't know that. According to what I'm reading on this Fusion, of course, this is Autodesk, and they're saying that it's one of the latest ideas. It runs CAM. It's set up to work in 4 different disciplines, and that it works a lot. It stores and works a lot on the cloud. You can have a group. You name a group, and you can all work and be on it on the cloud and work on it together or work. Anyway, it's an open, not open, but it's set up to work a little differently and probably a little better. Anyway, I'm sure I'm boring people right now because it takes a geek like me to.
I was just kind of wondering. I've been an EA member for at least 40 years, and I just haven't gotten around to downloading it and playing with it.
I did download that, and then I had a computer crash, and I haven't been able to reopen it. I have to get in contact with EAA and see if they can reestablish my credentials or something like that. But yeah, SolidWorks is, I think, probably the best single. We used to use it in back when we were a supplier to the auto industry. And the best thing about SolidWorks is that it would let us talk to all of the other CAD systems that all of the other companies were using, like Unigraphics or CATIA or ProE or whatever they were using. SolidWorks seemed to have a real good way of translating and importing and exporting to all the different CAD disciplines. So for us, it was a really good thing. You know, as a supplier, we had to have that kind of capability, and that really worked well for us. So.
On a side note, how's my sound coming in tonight? It wasn't that good the other night, and I bought some new headsets to try out with the mic.
It's good.
It's good.
You're perfect tonight.
Excellent.
Is that a Variac?
I got a question.
Is that a Variac on the table?
Yeah, I just got it today. A buddy has finished his Cozy 4 home belt, and I was looking for a better power supply than my train transformer to run my big cutter, and he gave it to me.
Wow.
Keep brushing your hair. Drive, okay.
So I was happy to get that.
Watch out,
Other scores
Bob
today,
uses those. Bob uses those to control the heat on his wire cutters.
Well, actually,
that's what I got.
I use a two-stage transformer controlled by a Variac.
Ah,
Yeah, I
What
wanted
is
that.
Variac?
Oh, I made
Variable AC supply.
yep.
What are you going to
go.
cut? You're going to go full-size 737?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just lobbing my raw blanks down to size and manageable, and then I'll use my small bow.
Wow.
What's Variac? Just a variable AC power supply.
Well, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah.
You see that, Rusty?
Yes, I do. I can't read the meter, but I can see it.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah,
a big
with a big
rheostat on
knob.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're about
big wire
400 or
wound rheostat, I bet.
Yeah, they're about.
Yeah, I bet that's one of those
aircraft.
copper. I bet that's one of those big
Yeah.
copper round rheostats. I love those copper wound rheostats.
Yeah.
I love those things.
You know, for my little wire, the train transformer worked okay, but it doesn't have enough juice to run that big one.
Yes,
And
I
then
found
Trevor
that
had
one
this
too there.
terrible.
This is a project that I worked on this week. It's only 56 LEDs.
Hmm.
And it's spinning, and then it turns on this row of 56 LEDs one at a time in sequence as a infrared coupler that couples the top spinning part to the bottom so it can do the timing, and then an electric motor that spins it, and then there's no power supply connection between the bottom board and the top board, so it does that through a coil of wire, takes the power supply, converts it to AC, and then transfers AC to the coil, and then converts it back to DC on the top board.
Like
Wow.
a micro magneto and then rectify on the top.
So then you can program it to do different things. There's my name. There's a remote control. So it picks up there's the clock. And
That's pretty cool.
Here's let's see if I can. There, I got some airplanes flying.
All right.
There, see, it is airplane related.
Can you get him? Can you get him to do the stunt pattern?
That'll be my
my
next programming step, I guess.
There we go. The
That's regular.
globe.
fiction.
We could issue those to the judges, you know?
So that's something I worked on this week.
That's good.
That's pretty cool.
Was that a
And
kit or
was
that
a
all
kit.
your own work?
It was a kit from China, but when I first put it together, it would run for just a short time, and then it was like the microcontroller would just bomb out, and it would fault where it wouldn't do anything. So I started looking at it, and the microcontroller chip, is the part number had an L in it, and the L means it's a 3.3 volt microcontroller. And the China power supply was powering it at 5 volts. So that was the problem.
I guess.
So I had to order some parts from DigiKey and redesign the power supply to go 3.3 volts.
Good
So
work.
I don't know what people do that aren't electronic engineers, because they never figure that out.
I was an electronics guy, but I got my education back in the 70s and worked through the mid 90s, and it's left me behind so much between then and now that it's like looking under the hood of a modern car. I just put my hands in my pockets and kind of say, and so I love 60s electronics. That's the kind of stuff I love getting my hands in and working with. But everything got digital, and I was going to school. They taught us how to, use chips to make computers and give us instruction sets and all that. But I didn't have to use that in my work, and I was just, electromechanical office machines. So it kind of left me behind.
This is all surface mount, so none of the components are on there. So you have to solder all those really small connections. And so I don't know, it's not an easy kit to build.
I guess not. Well, my show and tell is a lot simpler. So.
Honey,
Crazy sister. Got that in honor of my crazy sister. But,
How is your crazy sister?
She's doing well. She's doing well. Okay, crazy sister. You either have one, know one, or are one. All right. So.
Make sure you say hi for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. She got married a couple of years ago, and her and her hubby got a boat to take out on it's on the Detroit River, so they can go out into the Great Lakes with it. And just are out there basically every week. So haven't seen it except in pictures myself, but gonna fix that this summer. So.
She's a buddy.
She is. She was riding a Harley there for a while too, Bob. You might have liked that. But
no, I don't like Harleys.
Oh, don't you? I thought you liked Harleys.
Gosh, no, I like motorcycles.
Oh, it's the other guy that likes Harleys. How's it going there, Mr. Lightweight?
Hey, Rusty, Gary Sinclair is trying to get...
What about Gary?
What about Gary Sinclair?
Gary Sinclair is trying to get on. He's having a hard time. I don't understand what the problem is.
Oh.
He was on earlier, but his picture and sound didn't come up. It just isn't.
Okay.
I just got the chat box working, so I don't see him out there in YouTube. What kind of trouble is he having, Sparky?
He can't get on. I didn't know he was on before.
You got 10, baby.
Got a couple of things.
He never did get on enough to speak. It was just his box popped up in his letters, and that's all. Hey, well, I got a chance. There's a good YouTube update here. Brad Alger was talking about the guy smoking the cigar and flying the Nobler. and he was listening to us, and let's see, he said, I guess he was the name at the field. He said it was a pipe. He forgot about that. He looked it up and found pictures of the guy flying, and he said the man was the designer of the Nobler. And let's see. Then he says, Rusty, you mentioned that it may have been a pipe. You were correct. Googled his name, came up with a bunch of images. Okay. So he didn't say who it was, but who designed the Nobler?
George
Aldrich.
Did Aldrich smoke
That's
a
what I
pipe?
thought. It wasn't Bob Beast.
What's that?
Did George smoke a pipe?
I don't
No.
think he smoked cigarettes.
Maybe.
And he lived in Texas, so
He must have been thinking about Bob
Maybe.
and the Gieske Nobler. Bob's
yeah.
That must be what I was thinking that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was probably the Gieske Nobler, Brad. That is an iteration of the original Nobler, which was designed by George Aldrich, same guy that did the Flight Streak and many others that I couldn't rattle off to you.
Did Gieske live in
Peacemaker.
California?
Apparently. Was it a red Nobler?
Yeah, Brad, tell us if it was red or green or what.
Well, you said it was in Fountain
That's-
Valley, California, didn't he?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
he said that's the guy. He said that's the one. I mean, thanks for the clarification. I guess he's talking about the man, Bob Gieske. I don't know. Maybe he'll type some more.
I thought he was from Texas.
They had the first Palmer meet there at Mile Square, and he might have come down there. I think Gieske was at that one.
This was the green one that the guy was flying that Brad Brad saw. He said he thinks it was the green one. Yeah, there's Gary Sinclair. He's been trying to get on tonight.
looks like he found us.
Yeah, well,
more
not
hiding.
video, but good evening, Gary. Anyway, glad to have you on the YouTube side. Oh, what?
will come up,
What's
okay?
the little guy we got here with
Yeah.
the red? Yeah, yeah,
Did
it did.
Gieske
It
fly a
just
green
disappeared for
one?
me.
Got a yellow one.
Well, the Gieske Nobler is the same one they call the green box Nobler. Is that
No,
not
no,
right,
no,
or is that
No.
that's different?
no.
Okay. Yeah, because Bob's joke the other night said they were looking down from heavens, overlooking, saw a guy flying a red Nobler, and the guy said, "Hey, that's Bob Gieske." Man, and that was red. That came to mind. And St. Peter told him, "Oh no, that's not Bob Gieske. That's God. He just thinks he's Gieske."
Yeah.
I love that one.
So what
That's
was
cool.
there? That was just even a bigger Nobler?
Yeah, it's a bigger version of it, but it really was a Geobolt wing. It's Billy's Thunderbolt wing, and
Okay.
it's just designed to look like a Gieske Nobler. The differences between the stock Nobler and Bob Gieske's Nobler is that he took the set of Nobler ribs and he drew around them with a fat ballpoint pen, and that's why he got a little bit thicker wing. And of course, he put a different shaped rudder on it and bottom block, and so.
Mm-hmm.
I got one more here. I think I can put up here in a minute.
Hey Bob, I was reading a bunch of flying magazines from geez, there's some good articles on stunt in there. Some guy with the same name as you, but it must have been someone different because he had lots of hair.
So soon it goes.
That's all right.
Great articles though. Those should be published out on Stunthangar or something maybe.
Which ones were they?
Those were the monthly article on flying stunts.
Oh yeah,
You did?
when I did the series on how to fly I ran out of ideas, so I figured I'd do that.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I actually did that
Actually,
twice,
no, it was excellent.
about 7 or 8 years apart. I did it twice.
And then I saw some articles when you went to the dark side and went RC pattern.
Yeah. I like pattern. I really love pattern. Pattern is great. You remember that radio control is actually just control line with the reliability removed.
All right.
That's rich.
Well, and you can also hide all your mistakes with speed and altitude.
Yeah, back in those days, we flew ballistic pattern where you do one maneuver per pass. You go out about 3 miles and turn around and come back at 200 miles an hour and do another maneuver. And, you know, that was fun.
Kind of sounds like when I had my Citabria, energy management was everything.
How about it?
You only had 150 horse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking at some modern pattern planes the other night, basically photo album from a contest, and I don't know. I kind of like the ballistic airplanes a lot better.
So do I.
Yeah, they were just a lot more to look at than what they're flying now.
These now look like whales. They look like, I don't know,
yeah,
polar whales, you know.
Kellen says the Guppy, the new Guppy airplane.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah, it's hard to get excited about it. So, and obviously they're doing spectacular work and everything like that.
Oh yeah, they shot themselves in the foot though. Without knowing it, we did a smart thing. Would have to be without knowing it. But they change their pattern almost every year, and they get maneuvers that require you to build new airplanes that will do these maneuvers. And these airplanes cost $3,000 and $4,000, you know, and they're just killing themselves. The participation is going down about as fast as ours is. But we kept one pattern since 1958. We're still doing the same pattern, you know. So, and, I guess we're going to keep doing it till somebody does it perfect.
I suppose so.
After that, then.
Denny, you going to come back and do that?
I'm sorry. Who?
I said, are you going to come back and do that? Fly the perfect pattern?
I don't know about that, Bob. But, can't say that I wouldn't try, but I don't know.
Yeah, Bob's got me worried. Now, what are we going to do if that happens? But we might have to quit.
Well, the chances I don't know.
Listen, I learned my first pattern I learned in 1956, and I got it where I could fly the whole pattern. And they changed the pattern the next year.
They changed it in 58.
Was it 58?
58. That was the first year.
Okay.
The new pattern was flown at the net. Do you remember who won that net?
All right. No, I don't.
Denny should know that.
58?
Mm-hmm.
I was 4 years old at the time.
Yeah, you should remember that.
Let's see. I really don't know.
It was the first time that new pattern had been flown at the Nationals. Well,
okay.
Trivia question. How many people know this? All right, you give up?
I do.
It was Bob
It's
Randall.
not blue.
Bob Randall?
Bob Randall flying Charlie Mackey's Junkers Gobbleschwatz.
All right.
Well, they published that pattern, that 57 pattern, in the model airplane magazines before it was flown at the Nats.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I learned it, was before it was flown at the Nats. Nonetheless,
the first official use of it though was 58.
Right.
There's John's Nobler.
That's pretty.
Yeah, that's looking nice.
Yep. So is that so he can compete with your Tucker?
Yep.
All right.
Hey, well, I meant to ask you, Sparky, what race was it? The Snyder Cup that Tucker flew in?
Yes.
Okay. I was watching a thing on TV last night, and it said that Jimmy Doolittle was the first one to ever win the Snyder Cup. That's how his claim to fame and everything he got to do.
No, he
He was
won.
the first American to win it, but
He won
they'd
the
been
Thompson
competing
Trophy.
with it for several years before then.
Oh, he was the first American to win it?
Yeah. In fact, I'm not sure if he was first or second.
No, he was
Must
the
have been the
second.
first.
Spigweed was the manager of the
Well,
team.
the Army team. Oh, see, he was Army. The Navy team
No,
won it first, and then the Army team, right?
Spigweed was Navy, and they won it first, and then the Army. Then he came with and won it with the Army. Yeah.
That, by the way, is a great movie.
Same airplane,
Yeah, yeah.
except one had wheels and the other had the floats.
Hmm.
And it was 4 miles an hour faster with wheels than it was the floats.
Huh.
Yeah.
What was it the first one that America won with? Was it a biplane?
Yep.
Yeah. Curtis.
Yeah.
No, well, the first one they won with, I think, was a low wing airplane, and then the biplane came. Again, the movie Wings of Eagles kind of documents that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure both American wins were with different or later versions were Curtis biplanes. I don't remember that part about the movie. I know that the Italians were racing monoplanes then.
Yep.
And the Italians are the ones that knocked the Americans off. The Americans had a chance to win and retire the Snyder Trophy. The rules were if you won it 3 times in a row, you could retire the trophy. They'd won it twice in a row, and no nations were ready the third year, so they just decided to forego the racing for the year. But later on, when the Brits retired the trophy, they won their third win. Was flying against themselves. So,
Well,
but by then the whole Snyder race had become so expensive and so prohibitive that everybody had dropped out. So.
And pictures of Noblers up there. Here's my first Nobler.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's that kid? Who's the guy holding it?
Yeah.
That's his son.
My son Robbie. Yeah, right. That was in 1966 or 67. 66.
It got a propeller on it. How's it fly?
Well, it wasn't even cleared yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Cool.
Hey, Bob, what is going to happen to Buddy's airplanes?
Well, we sold most of them. Actually, we sold all of them except for 2 that Ryan wanted to keep. The Twin and the last Ryan's Eagle.
What did they do with the first JD Falcon? Who got that?
I got that back to Nick DeTavio, John's son.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because Samantha's got number 2, and I wondered, and that was number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we sold the Caprice and to Keith Ferguson, and then Frankie Pies. Anybody remember that name, Frankie Pies? He was in the Union Club. He was the 1961 Junior Combat Champion. But he and Buddy were best friends back in the 50s, and he's still around. And he bought that from her. He gave her a nice piece of change for it too to help out.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's a nice guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, since
Did any of Natavio's sons fly at all or not?
Nick flies radio, and he wants to get it back into a little bit of control line. And the airplane that John was building at my shop, he was actually funding it, and bought all the equipment and everything. So I gave that to him, and he wants to come back over here and finish it in the shop. So we're gonna do that. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I know that John, he had that Blue Max and stuff like that. That he's
silencers. He had a couple of silencers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He flew all the way up to the end. I remember him when I was just a little boy, and he looked old then.
Some of us are blessed that way.
He was a good guy.
I wished I'd spent more time talking to him.
Yeah, he's a.
You meet these people at events and you don't know who they are really, and then when you find out who they are, it's too late.
You need to talk to Scarinzi. He's funny as heck.
He is.
Yeah.
He's never changed. He's still 17.
You mean like Banjock?
We call Banjock Larry 2.
Larry 2.
Larry 2.
Yeah, I talked to Dan last week.
Hey, Bob, you're only about 20.
Yeah, right. My socks are 20.
Mine too.
We won't ask about the underwear.
Yeah, really.
No.
Hell, Bob's old school. He don't wear underwear.
I needed to buff out an airplane.
Yeah, Bob goes commando like in the old hippie days.
Keeps the weight down.
Yeah.
Keeps them light like his airplanes.
Len, you were talking about wishing you'd have talked to the old guys and before. That applies to the veterans too. Talk to everyone you can. I can remember it wasn't me, but a friend of mine was talking to old fellow in the 1970s in the Royal Canadian Air Force Association Club here, and they asked him what he flew in the war, and he said fighters. Asked him what, Spitfires and Hurricanes? He said Camels and SC-5s.
Oh my God!
Wow!
Wow!
Awesome.
Oh, we were talking about the stuff that the Americans flew in World War I, and that thing I was watching last night about the airplanes was from the Smithsonian, and they have one of the original SPADs of 4 that are left at the Smithsonian. I remember seeing it. And I seen all the little little squares that had not swastikas, but the old
Iron Cross.
Iron Cross. And then were all holes that were shot into that
Iron Cross.
And they patched cross with that. So when you see that airplane, it's hanging up there at the Smithsonian.
That was
all them Iron Crosses were bullet holes.
Yeah.
There was this German.
That's a SPAD 13, isn't it, Mike?
13. There was this German fighter pilot who had defected from the German Air Force and flew for the Allies. And after the war, years after the war, he was invited onto a TV program. And he was being interviewed. And the guy, he said, tell us some of, your things that happened to you. He says, well, I was in a dogfight and I had this foca on my tail. And the host said, I just want to tell the doctors in the airplane. He said, yeah, this foca was a Messerschmitt.
I can't believe you guys have looked at that. It's so old. Oh my goodness.
Do you guys not remember? Bob told that joke about 2 months ago.
No.
I remember the joke going that the pilot being interviewed was Lars Andersen from Norway, and he'd escaped Norway and he's flying for the Allies.
Oh, okay, whatever. It works either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that biplane on the Schneider Cup, it had a V12 in it.
Yeah.
And it showed all the radiators, all that copper on the wings and tail and stuff like that.
It was a Laird super solution, right?
No,
I don't think so.
It was a Curtis.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was a Curtis. You're right. It was a Curtis biplane. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually Doolittle won. I want to say the Thompson, but I think he won the Bendix with the Laird Super Solution, like 1931.
And he won it with a GB too.
Yeah, he won it with the GB, going like hell. But he won. He won. I think it was the Bendix with the Solution biplane.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I think.
Do you guys remember when the fella built that reproduction of the GB and took it to Oshkosh and flew it there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to watch
that. Fly.
I got to watch that thing fly. He was doing stunts with the darn thing.
It would knife edge down the runway beautifully, and he died in it. He died in it.
I didn't know that he died.
Yeah, he died in that airplane.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
There's the footage from the 40s of the GB going into Willow Run Airport out in Michigan, if anybody's seen that one.
Yeah. It actually happened at the edge of what is now Detroit Metro. And it was called Wayne Major, I guess, back then. And and there's
yeah, you can find that video on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a building. I think I don't think it was
the wing broke.
It wasn't a hangar, but there's a building that you can see in that video that is still standing there by the road too. So.
Yeah.
That's where my grandpa worked during World War II.
Yeah, Bob, how did the guy die in the GB crash in the new one? What happened?
My understanding was, from recollection, that he was ferrying it from one show to another, and he had a flame out and he crashed.
That's too damn bad.
You know.
I heard he died from a sudden stop, but
yeah, it's not the long fall; it is the sudden stop. Billy Werwick told the story. He lived and flew a stunt right up to a few years ago, right off the edge of the Cleveland airport, right close to the Cleveland airport. And when he was a kid, they had the Cleveland air races there, and the airplane crashed in the woods just down the street from his house. And he and a couple of his friends were the first ones to the crash scene. They saw the dead guy and everything. It was horrible, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. He tells that story.
So, the reason I asked what the cause of the crash was, the one Dennis and I are talking about, the wing folded on the airplane. If you've seen that video.
Yeah, that was the original one.
Yeah,
the yellow and black, the GBZ, but the Model Z. And the speculation was, there's a lot of things speculating. Something happened, the pilot twitched and gave it some control and folded the wing. But that airplane previously had some trouble with wing flutter. It was built for one engine, and they put a monster engine in it to go after the absolute speed record, and they got it. They were doing a backup flight when the thing the wing folded on it, and it just corkscrewed into the ground. But yeah, you can find it on YouTube. It's not too hard to find. 1931 GB Super Sportster, I think, or something like that. Look up that title. You can find it on YouTube.
Has anybody seen that documentary called Breaking Through the Clouds? It was the story of the first women's air race from California to Cleveland. In 1927, I think it was. It's about a 2-hour documentary, and it's amazing. They have actual footage and talking footage of these women, getting ready to race, and really was something. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's great.
Where'd you see it?
It was on, I forgot the channel it was on, but I was clicking through the channels and I found it, and I TiVoed it. So I'll have to see if I can find it on the TiVo what channel it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was watching something about that, and they said that actually women were winning a lot of races, so they came out with a new rule on a horsepower limit for women.
Well, this is before that,
because the guys couldn't take being beat by the women.
Yeah.
I don't know how that feels. I used to fly. I used to fly against Don Cosmillo. I know exactly how that feels.
Do you remember when the fellow built that reproduction of the Hughes racer, the H something one?
Yeah.
Showed up at Oshkosh. It was gorgeous, and he lost it ferrying it back home or something. He ferried it. So anyway, he lost it in Yellowstone Park. He had find out apparently, and he was dead sticking in, and there were the place he's trying to land. There were either people there or cars there, or they pulled in, and he tried to gain a little more, and went in from there. Actually, what a loss, you know, because it was only around for like a year or so.
Yeah, and the H1.
Yeah, that was a beautifully
Got a
done
YouTube
replica.
comment right along those lines. Brad on YouTube says that was the Jim Wright Hughes H1 replica that crashed in Yellowstone August 4th, 2003 after leaving Oshkosh.
Okay. Hey, Bob, what was that contest there in Ohio? Canton. That's where it was at, Canton.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that bathtub glider dealie that hangs up in there? Did you see that in the hangar?
No. In Canton?
Yeah. At that the hangar where we flew.
Oh, that was not Canton, was it?
Well, it's in between.
That was Akron. That was Akron.
Yeah, it's actually in between Akron and Canton.
Okay, yeah, that the Military Air Museum or whatever it was.
Yeah. You remember they had the blimp there.
Mm-hmm.
The body. Then above that, set that. It looked like a damn wooden bathtub with a wing on it. And the guy pulled his wife with his Model T Ford.
Wow. That was a nice place to fly. That was a great place to fly.
Mm-hmm.
But what I thought was cool, this guy builds an airplane, well, a glider actually, and it was before the Wright brothers actually flew power, but they were doing that. But he put his wife in it. It's like, well, birds with one stone, I guess.
I'll never forget that contest. That's where I taught Sam how to do squares.
Yeah, we were talking about flying the pattern and stuff like that, and I was going to tell everybody that the best thing that helped her was when you told her, "Don't worry about the corner, worry about the flat."
Yep,
the corner will come, and sure as shit, once she could get the airplane to go a 90, the corners got sharper and sharper and sharper.
Yeah,
because it just, when you concentrate on the one, it has to get that way. Otherwise, you'd have like a bulge in it to get it back or whatever.
You got to fly the flats. The corners will happen, or the airplane will crash. So you just got to fly the flats.
Yeah, that's when her flying really took off from.
Yeah. Well, she was a very fast study.
But yeah, I still remember when after she won the
good message for everybody.
The beginner, she says, "I'm going to learn a new maneuver every day."
It's a good message for people.
And within 1 week, she could fly the whole pattern. And the next year we went down there, and that's when you taught her how to
do the squares.
That and talk to herself before, and she still does to this day. And she says, "The only thing I don't like about electrics is everybody can hear me talk to myself."
Mm-hmm.
That to me is the biggest thing about flying stunt is talking to yourself while you're flying does two things, especially when you're doing the right talking. You remind yourself about what maneuver is next, so you never forget a maneuver. As soon as you finish one, you say, "Okay, the next maneuver is inside squares," and then you talk to yourself and count laps. You count the laps, so you never forget the lap, and then you also tell yourself what this airplane requires to do a good job in that particular maneuver. When you get to the maneuver, you haven't had time to get nervous, and you did the right number of laps, and you're doing the right maneuver.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the two things that Samantha took away from her training that day was how to fly the flats. That helped her. That helped her in her square eights. It helped her in the hourglass. It helps in the triangle.
Yeah.
I mean, all that just worrying about the flats just upped her score by hundreds of points in just no time.
Yeah. That'll do it.
So, but yeah, that was one of the best contests, That
was a great place to fly, man, with all the warbirds around us. Yeah. That was great.
I still don't understand how you can jump out of the tail of that airplane and miss that son of a bitch and stabilizer.
What's that?
Sparky's got something in front of the camera.
I said, I still don't understand how you can jump out of one of them airplanes and not hit the stabilizer.
Oh, well.
Well, it did happen though. Not often, but.
Where's Sparky?
Well, he's drawing something there. They're working on something.
Sparky is tackling a top block in place, I think. No,
Yeah.
he's getting ready to trim it, and then he's going to attack it.
What, Mike?
Steve, what are you talking about? Skydiving? What airplane?
It was one of them ones that hauled troops, and they jumped out of the damn thing in World War II.
Oh, the DC-3?
I guess
C-47?
But when you when you look out the door, that son of a bitch and tail is lower than what you're jumping out. I'm like, how in the hell they missed that tail?
What is Spark?
Yeah, well, what happens is the pilot trims the airplane nose down, so tail up, and nose down on the jump. I got a few jumps out of DC-3s. Even in a 182, the pilot will do that. He'll put it in a nose down position with the tail up. There have been the most common airplane that skydivers are hitting the tails on are King Airs. It happens a lot more than you'd like to think. I probably know 6 tail strikes with King Airs.
Wow.
Because you talk about not a long distance from the door to the stabilizer. It's not very far, and if the pilot doesn't have the plane trimmed right on jump run, more than a few people have bumped their gourd on the elevator, and some of them have died. A few people have died from it.
I would imagine.
If your pilot's got the airplane trimmed properly for jump run for exit, it's not an issue.
Oh, okay.
Sparky, how thick are those fuselides?
1/8 inch.
Oh, what's thicker on the
longeron? The longerons get sanded off, and then you cut the top block off and sand them.
Oh, okay.
The longeron out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, nothing here.
I did them out of 1/4 inch, 10-pound wood.
Yeah. What is that? Another Tucker?
That's a big Tucker, yeah.
Big Tucker? A big mother Tucker.
Yeah.
Big mother.
I can't take credit for that. That belongs to somebody else. That belongs to Alan Ressinger.
You know, it's going to be stuck with that name forever.
Well, Ressinger built one. That's what he called it. He built a big one.
Hey, Bob, can I ask you a couple of questions about your trike gear Genesis?
Yeah, sure. I didn't have a trike gear Genesis. I have a trike gear Crossfire.
Oh, I thought it was a Genesis. It's the one that's on this. Okay.
Yeah, he missed the calendar.
Oh, okay. So it's a Crossfire, actually.
It's a Crossfire, yeah.
Do you have a plan of... Okay, same airplane.
Go ahead.
Do you have a plan that's available for that with the trike gear?
I don't. Unfortunately, I built that right off the regular plans and just put the trike gear in, on my own.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
350.
He uses
We
the
talked
same.
about that earlier. One 350 for the plans, 50%.
You're killing me.
Whoa.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Now, if I wanted to convert that airplane to glow, what engine would be reasonable?
Briggs and Stratton.
None. Would be reasonable. None. Now you could put a, I don't know, a PA-40 or something in it, or maybe if you had a Merlin, an ultralight 40, that would be perfect.
Okay.
What do they call that? The PA-40.
So,
they call that thing the PA-40R Ultralight Merlin. It had more nicknames than Apollo Creed and Rocky IV.
So that would be with a pipe. That would be with a pipe, right?
Yeah.
I guess you could, yeah.
Okay. So if it wasn't piped, if it wasn't a pipe, would a 51 be about right?
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. I guess so.
How heavy you going to build it? You're going to build it. You're going to build it like a lumber wagon, or you're going to build it at like a lumber gazer?
No, I'm planning to.
I had one in Glow.
I'm trying to not build it like a.
I had one in Glow.
I'm sorry.
I had one that was Glow.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I flew it in 87 and 90 and 91. Good airplane, but
okay.
Anyone I build now is going to be electric. It's far superior.
Oh yeah,
for sure, for sure.
Do it electric.
But
so
if you want to, you can get that. You can get that Rojet 40.
Okay.
Don't get me started.
What, a Rojet 40?
That cost me a team selection.
What, you couldn't get it to run good?
I put 100 flights on that airplane in 1 week trying to get that thing to run. Would have just needed breaking in. And
what's that, a Rojet 40?
Yeah, I never had any luck with that thing at all. The rear exhaust Rojet 40. But,
yeah,
then I put a Merlin. I put a Merlin in it. The Genesis. I put a Merlin in it. That was pretty good.
Okay.
That worked pretty good.
Yeah, what I found out is that I took the Merlin out because I have one of them also, and put in the Rojet 40, and it runs so much better than that Merlin does.
Well, boy, I'll tell you, we had diametrically opposed situations because that Rojet wouldn't run for me at all, and the
I couldn't get the Rojet to run good.
Wow.
And I used my old saying back from flying RC control line.
Yeah.
If all else fails, put in a OS number 8. I put that in that motor. That son of a bitch purred like a kitten.
Huh.
It runs so good. It doesn't miss a beat. And but now that was on a header muffler. These are both on mufflers. They're the header mufflers. They weren't on pipe.
Well, and different people have different experiences, So.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and every motor is different too.
Yes.
I mean, who knows?
But yeah, I had all kinds of problems with it running.
So what would my best?
I put the OS 8 in it, and that solved all the problems.
So what would my best bet be to get a plan for this airplane?
What's that? A plan? I have plans for it.
I was just asking what would be my best bet to get a plan. You do? Okay, that'd be great. I will set that up with you and get you to send me one.
Yeah, send me
Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Whatever, and I'll fix you up with a plan.
Okay.
And you could draw in motor
Will
mounts.
do. That's awesome.
You can draw in motor mounts, and if you want, I would actually draw.
Yeah, for sure.
I would draw on the plan the position of the trike gear, where the gear should come out of the wing.
Yeah,
that's going to be the hard problem.
Perfect.
You put a pipe motor in there, you're going to have a hell of a problem with that nose gear.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to put a pipe in there.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try it with a regular motor. I'm going to try a muffler.
Yeah, that's the problem with rear exhaust is going with trike gear. I mean, back in the day that
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. All my planes are rear exhausted. I found I can mount the nose gear to the cowl on the inside of the cowl.
Is that what you
build the cowl up, set it up?
Is that what you and Gordy do on the Pathfinder?
What?
On the Pathfinder?
Yeah.
That's what you do?
How do you run it down?
Yeah, we did that. And did that on. Say what?
Bend the wire around the pipe.
Of the airplane.
One at a time.
I in the bottom of the cowl. Well, here's the cowl for the Pathfinder LE.
Where are you?
And there's the nose gear.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
And you
Oh,
look inside
okay.
there. See mounted right
Yeah.
there? There's a piece of plywood there, and there's a cap that goes over the plywood, and that is where the gear. I took at the 95 Nats. I took the original Pathfinder 40, which was the first full body Pathfinder, and as I coming around on the landing on the last final flight before we made cutoff, I landed. I was rolling out, and I hit an aircraft tie down. Hit it right on the nose gear, and it bounced it up about 7 or 8 feet in the air, and came down right on the nose gear, and took another bounce and it rolled out. Well, it bent the gear back a bit, but it didn't break anything, and it didn't break the cowl, and the cowl didn't come off.
Huh.
So I proved it to myself
That's awesome.
right there that was plenty strong enough. I didn't have to go around the pipe or anything like that. So it can be done, and you just got to be willing to suck it up because you're going to be worried about it first.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I was saying, because I know that when we all went to rear exhaust on RC pattern, we all went with tail draggers, but we had to have a nose gear that was steerable, and nobody came up with a way to do a steerable nose gear that wouldn't fold and shit with the rear exhaust engine.
Yeah, I can see that.
Except, Brady, he put an upright engine rear exhaust and ran it through the canopy, and so you could have a tri-gear. And I can't think of the guy from Japan.
Is that why he did that?
Huh?
Is that why he did that? I often wondered why he did that.
Yeah. So you can have a trike gear.
Huh.
And then there was a Japanese guy that ran his somehow up through the fuselage, and it exhausted before the rudder. So he could do a tricycle gear. But it just messed the airplane so much because that damn exhaust came right out and got all over the stab and rudder.
There you go, Len.
Bob, did you tell Lynn that you would mark the position for the main gear and on that?
Is that picture?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Is that picture showing? Yeah, that's where
that looks awesome.
Yeah.
That's important, Lenny, because you get them too far back, it'll mess you.
Yep.
It'll mess you up for.
You got to be real close to the CG.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool.
It's right behind the
That
spar,
looks like they're almost right in the.
Right behind
looks
the
like
spar,
they're
right?
almost in the middle.
I give up.
I got another picture of it here. Okay.
That's okay. Go ahead.
They're not too far after the CG.
Sparky, did you say right at the?
It looks like they're right behind the spar.
Yeah.
Is that right, Bob?
Yeah, they're maybe an inch and a quarter behind the spar, but they sweep forward. So yeah.
I always set mine up to be about 5 degrees behind the CG, where the wheel touches the ground.
And this may actually show it a little better. Let's see. Hold on.
What you do, Len, is just have him build you the wing and stab. And then all you have to do is build the fuselage.
Yeah, just
don't worry thinking about it.
Yeah.
At least the wing.
Hey, you want him to build you a stab. He built Samantha one for her new airplane. It's partway complete. But he cut the elevators out of the stab. That thing weighs nothing. It is the most beautiful piece of work you ever seen in your life. How nice that thing came out.
Checks
3 ounces.
Checks in the mail, Steve.
All right. I've showed people. I go down to get it, but yeah, you can't believe this thing.
How much does it weigh?
I got
on the plans. It showed on Randy's plans. It actually showed a foam core stab, and I had Bob.
I have to convince Naomi that it's okay to remortgage the house for all these things.
Remember that there is only one hobby: spending money.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Especially when it comes to control line.
Hell, it won't be that bad, Lonnie.
Talking about
plans for $350.
You're not going to get off of that, are you?
Talking about remortgaging a house, it's not a bad idea right now, guys. Interest rates are low, man.
Oh,
yeah, except mine's paid off.
No kidding, eh?
You got for 2.25 interest rate.
That's because you keep selling those.
I'm going to refi. I thought we were great at 4.25, but we're going to refi and take advantage of it right now. 2 points, man. I mean, geez, you're nuts not to do it. That will bring airplanes.
That shows another swept forward a little bit.
Is that the one Jerry has?
Yeah, that's no.
Your sweet Ford.
This is one Tom Smelser. I sold this one to Tom Smelser.
Let's see it.
Do you have your
I see that one,
main gear wires?
That's
do you have your main gear wires sweeping forward, Bob?
Yeah, they go forward a little bit. I kept bending them forward to get it so that it would break clean off the ground, and still, with the battery on board, it balances. But if you take the battery out, it goes right back on the tail skid. It's really.
I just love the lines in that airplane.
It's a good airplane. That was my favorite cross.
Mine, if you.
I can see why.
Mine, if you park it with nothing in the fuel tank, the tail will sit on the ground.
I don't think I have any other pictures that really show the gear better than that. I got a picture here with me and Sparky together.
Do you usually?
You do.
Yeah.
Do you usually use a Millennium wing or a foam wing?
A Millennium wing? I've never built a Millennium wing. I built Lost foam wings, but this is a foam.
Sorry.
This is a stock foam wing.
Lost foam. Sorry, I meant lost foam.
Yeah, I use
lost foam.
I use lost foam. Here, Bob. There's one of you and I together.
Oh yeah, that was an I-beam crossfire.
There you go. Oh. That was a while ago.
That wasn't too many years ago.
That was what? That was 2013, I think.
Was it that far back? Wow.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, there it is. Oh, all right.
Maybe
Cool.
14. Probably 13 or 14. Yeah.
Whoops, it's gone.
Yeah. Do you have any others that show that? I don't think so.
I sold that airplane to Jerry. He took it to Joe Knoll, and him and his wife, he was doing something, and I don't know, it quit or something, I don't know, and he went to get it, and it took off again, and it cartwheeled into the pagoda.
Oh, man.
Broke the wing out.
Was that an electric?
I remember.
Coming in for a landing, Bob?
I remember that airplane.
Yeah, that's a good airplane. Anyway. All right.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. But really consider doing it with electric. One of the 35 millimeter.
Yeah, Sparky says I need to. Sparky says I.
You're locked
I'm
up.
so foreign to that. Like, I have no idea. I'm so foreign to it, and I don't really want to. I have so much invested in Glow, thousands and thousands of dollars into it, and I just can't break away from it.
Come fly one of
because
my.
I well, and
my airplane.
I understand, and it's taken me all these
on the wall behind me, and you'll go home and sell all your Glow motors. what I did. I don't own a glow motor, not one.
You know, Whittle flew his first
amazing.
His first electric powered Sultan, and the next week he sold all of his glow stuff.
Yeah,
every bit of it. He had brand new engines, sold it all, and went completely to electric after flying the one airplane like 3 or 4 times.
Yep, that's what I did too. Dumped it all into electric. The airplanes last longer. They don't vibrate. You know, they don't get oil saturated. I mean, all that's just ancillary benefits. But man, the center of gravity doesn't shift. You can adjust the vertical center of gravity at will. I mean, it's just so many advantages.
And it's easier to make fuel for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is if you do it now before everybody starts doing it, you might get something for your Slimer engines.
I'll meet you out in the field at 5 minutes.
Wait too long. Say what?
This past year at the Nationals, I understand it was the first year there were more electric airplanes in the official stunt events than there were glow airplanes.
The worst thing about electric is your buddy calls you up and says, I'll be out at the field in 10 minutes. Can you be there? Nope, I got to charge my batteries.
Well, if you have a paraplume, what C rate do you charge at?
I don't remember. I built those 6 purpose-built electric airplanes, and I gave it up.
Well, I can charge my batteries in 15 minutes, 6 of them.
I don't want to compete between electric.
What's that?
I never want to fight with anybody about what's worse. I don't think it's worse. It's a matter of what you prefer.
Yeah, but if you've never gone out and flown one,
for me, it's not a matter of one being better than the other. It's what
you're breaking up.
I like my Super Tiger 60s.
It's a hobby. You should do what you enjoy.
Absolutely. But you should have a frame of reference. If you've never flown one, you should fly a good one.
Yeah.
I've got a mixed hangar right now between electric and glow. I'll probably keep my stalkers. I just love the way they run. To me, they run about as close to the electric as I can get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if I was running a pipe, it'd be even more so. But nonetheless, like Dennis said, it's a hobby. Fly what you like, but there are reasons why everybody.
That's right.
There are reasons why everybody's going to electric.
There is. One of the things, I have a field a quarter mile. There's a field a quarter mile in that direction. I can go down there at 6 o'clock in the morning and fly, and it's surrounded by houses. No one even knows I'm there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's right. That's a good thing. No doubt about it. There's many, many, many advantages to flying electric.
Yeah.
What do you got there, Steve?
049.
Oh my gosh.
It's like an MBBS. Or no, it's an OS. Or
09, yeah, it's a nice old one.
That's a Webra 1.
What's that?
That's going on my new pattern ship.
Wow.
I still do both, so
1.4. Yeah, nice.
Well, guys, I'm out of here.
Hey,
what is that?
Can I build a lumber wagon for that?
That son of a bitch probably weighs more than Pop's new airplane.
Is that what, 5.5 horsepower?
4.5.
Wow.
4.5 horse.
Okay.
So Sparky, are you still there? Or did you sign off?
Flying your lawnmower.
I'm still here, but it's so hard to get in, so I'm just gonna go to bed.
Yeah, I gotta go walk my dog and go to bed.
Ask you a Super Tiger question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you were talking last week about the 56 and the 60 being kind of similar. Just 60 is generally preferable.
51, 56, and 60. Hello. 51, 56, and 60 are in the exact same case.
Yeah.
The old ones.
Okay. Okay, that partly answers the question. There was a stunt hanger last week about the 56s, and there's one guy piped up saying that the only pipe to run on them is a tube muffler, not a tongue muffler. Now you run the tongue mufflers. Is that just for weight, or do you notice any difference?
No, there are no 56s with muffler lugs. I run 60s that are post 1980 with muffler lugs, and the 56s you have to use a strap-on muffler. So a lot of the guys use K-tone.
Right.
They use the flow-through. And could you run it on a tongue? Yeah, if you could strap it on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you have to build a strap for it.
Tube type muffler better. The strap on is nothing. That's easy. Like I've got this OS muffler that I could strap right onto this 56, no problem.
Right.
Or I can make a tongue muffler. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. It's easy to do. Which would be better, in your opinion?
Well, the more volume you have in the exhaust, the more the engine can get its legs. So a tube muffler is better, and they're quieter.
Okay, so I'll try out this one then. I'll try out this OS one then. It's off a 65, which is just a big brick. I mean, it's kind of useless as an engine, so I may as well use the muffler.
Yeah, but the muffler's a brick too. You want a muffler that's around 1.5 ounces. You don't want, and that's too much.
Yeah. What's the weight of the muffler?
A tongue muffler weighs about 15 grams.
What's the weight of that? Go ahead.
And a tube muffler will weigh anywhere between 1.5 and 3 ounces, depending on what it is. You don't want all that concentrated weight on the nose. Unless you're tail heavy, you put a lot of paint on it.
He's gonna weigh it.
Let me see which muffler he's got. I'll tell him what the weight is.
It's an OS off at 65.
That one there's 2 1/4.
Ha, 4.7.
Oh boy, throw that in the trash.
Go.
A 46 is
that's a paperweight.
That's better, but it's still too heavy.
I'll stick with the tongue muffler. I'll just make a tongue muffler.
Unless you can use the muffler to balance the airplane, but I wouldn't, because all that concentrated weight in the nose you can feel on the handle. Isn't that right, Bob?
Yeah.
I run without a muffler.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got that big red brick in the nose.
Big red brick? What red brick?
This is that
battery.
Brand new one I just got from. This is that one I just got from Randy Smith. This is that's a single ring. This is a 2-ring one that I had that seemed to have about the same compression. So I got 2 supposedly good ones. Then I've got these 2 just rebuilt Super Tiger 46s. And then I got this Super Tiger 35 RC in the mail today for my old profile carrier. And then I had this other old C35 that was RC that I converted to control line just for sport bopping around. So that's all I've got for Super Tigers, but I'll have to live with it.
My Super Tiger's a no-ring Super Tiger.
Yeah, well, you've got the Brian Gardner set in it, eh?
Right, I got 2 of those. I got 2 ringed and then 2 Brian Gardner setups.
Yeah, I got 2 of the Brian Gardner setups to put into 36Xs eventually also. Beautiful machining that he does. It's just incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to head out. I got to go walk my doggy, and I got to get to bed.
All right, Bob.
Yeah.
All right.
See you later.
Good to see you again.
All right, Bob.
See you Monday.
I'm off too.
See you, Bob.
Guys.
Okay, Bob.
See you guys later.
Thanks again. I'll send you an email.
Thanks for the advice.
No problem.
Hey, did either of my Canadian friends get a package this week?
Yeah, I was trying to butt into you earlier on that.
Not yet.
I didn't get a package, but your money is on the way. What a pain in the ass to get a money order now with most of the banks closed.
Okay.
But
I'm still fighting to try and get one.
Yeah, it ended up going to
Working on
3
it.
different banks. The post office won't sell a U.S. one anymore. It ended up costing me, on $110 U.S., it cost me $157.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
No, it's just not your fault.
No, it's not your fault.
Like,
Okay. Yeah, and I'm not. I wasn't asking if the money came. If the money was sent, I just wondered if you guys got the boxes yet. That's all.
No, I don't expect it for at least a week.
Not yet.
It takes typically about
That takes time.
close to 2 weeks for something to come through. I mean, this Super Tagger engine sat in Calgary for 5 days before they brought it up here.
All right.
Hey, Dennis. Dennis,
Yes, sir.
are you there?
Mhm.
Is anybody in your family going to take up and continue with your dad's mufflers?
He sold the business.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Are they doing anything?
Yeah, they're making them. They're even calling them bigger mufflers.
Get them at Brodak.
Well, the last I
Ken?
saw, it looked like they were only making the tongue mufflers. They didn't look like they were making any of the tube mufflers, which is sad.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They're not making that pretty fluted tube muffler?
Yeah, they weren't making the tubes that I've seen. At least not all the stuff for that. So.
Your sound's going out, Dennis.
All right.
Man, Dennis, your mic is in and out real bad.
Yeah. What's going on with that thing used to work so good. How about now?
Sounds good now.
Oh yeah, good
Yeah.
Which doesn't work very well, but oh well. Anyhow, yeah,
Anybody build anything this week?
Brodak bought the Edge muffler business, and yeah, but like I say, they're just making, as far as I know, they're at least on the website, all they're showing is the tongue mufflers. So.
All right.
They can make some custom ones too. I don't know what your stalkers take, but they can probably make one for you.
Well, yeah, I've got these two side exhaust stalkers, one 140 and 151, and I thought they'd look really cool with one of those nice fluted style mufflers your dad used to make.
Yeah. I loved running those. But those they just look purposeful.
Yeah, they do. I got a couple of them, but you know that none of them will fit the stalkers I've got.
Yeah. No, right now, if you have any of us, I guess, would be talking to Leo about his printed, 3D printed stuff. He hasn't figured out how to print. Well, I don't think any of his machines will print a muffler. Well, they'll print it, you just can't run it. But,
yeah.
But,
I picked up two of those mufflers at BSC. Those tube mufflers, those mufflers. Yeah, I got two. One for a friend of mine,
aren't they?
And one for myself. Huh? Yeah, they are pretty.
They're pretty, aren't
I have
they?
one right here. Yeah, they are pretty. They are pretty. They're nice looking. Let me see here. Can I put it here?
I remember once
this one's
in Milwaukee.
Kind of old.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
This is
Yep. That's it.
one.
Looks like a 35
So
size.
about a new one.
I remember once your dad came to Milwaukee and he was showing a bunch of his muffler, and he had a prototype muffler for a 35 that looked like it wasn't much bigger around than a pencil. Do you remember that, Dennis?
Yeah, I saw it. I never saw it running, and I don't know why they never pursued it. I guess he did run it. He liked how it ran, but it's a real pain in the patootie to make or something.
You're breaking up.
Your
You
muffler
must be turning around.
Yeah, your mic went away.
Into it, why he didn't pursue it.
I said your muffler, I meant your mic.
Yeah. Anyhow, am I sounding any better now?
Not really.
Yes, better.
Not really.
I guess I don't have anything else I can change here. So.
It's like
It
You're
sounds
turning your
muffled.
face. You're turning your face away from it or something, Dennis.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with the PC right in front of me, and I'm trying not to turn, but it's still not right.
Good. It's good right now. It's perfect.
All right.
Yeah, just
Rusty,
don't
what you got
move.
there?
What picture, Rusty?
Rusty, your mic
picture,
is
Rusty?
turned off.
Who's that?
Rusty, your sound is turned off.
Your sound's off, Rusty.
Oh, I
There you
know.
go.
I know.
There you go.
Okay.
Who is it?
Who's that?
We were talking about a guy with a Dynajet named Jim that we might have met at Huntersville. One of these, I think that's Danny Banjock in the red shirt.
Yes.
Does that look familiar, or can y'all see that well enough? Now I got glare. What the hell? Oh, it went dark. There we go. Does that look like somebody we might have met at Huntersville, Mike?
I don't know who that is. That looks.
Focus.
Jim.
I don't recognize him.
Maybe I'm forgetting what conversation that was about. Will Davis just sent it to me. Oh, he sent it to Mike too. Check your text messages, Mike.
I will.
It's
I
in the
had my
group.
phone shut off.
Yeah, okay.
Well, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I'll see everybody Monday.
Okay, Steve.
Night.
Easy.
All right,
Be safe.
Steve.
Take it
See you,
easy,
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah, bye.
Take
Be
care,
safe,
Steve.
Steve.
See you
Be
later.
safe.
You shut up.
Bye. So, Charles, what are you doing?
I'm working on my nose ring for my stray I'm building.
All right.
It's kind of
Oh.
shaping the nose ring to the.
Nice.
So. Yeah, I moved my engine back on my Strega to maybe the Strega is built around a Super Tiger 60, and I'm putting a K77 with the pipe. So I had some room to
Nice.
move it back, and I thought, better now than later, just in case it's nose heavy. So I moved it back about 1/4 of an inch, and now I'm getting ready to glue on the nose ring. But I made it, so it's laminated 16th inch ply. And I'm just sanding it to shape. That's what I've been doing this whole show. Yes, I got excited about building again last Sunday. So I started working on it, and I got the itch, as Russ.
Well, there might still yet be a stunt season this summer.
I'm hoping
Where?
so. I'm sure that Golden State should be golden. Golden State should work. That's not till October, and then there's also the Las Vegas Challenge. And
Huntersville.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
October
it
in
gets
Huntersville might be able to happen.
Well, what can I say? We had snow today, so it's not even springtime yet.
Yes, we did. Oh my God, so did we.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
no.
Snowed all day.
And we're supposed to get it tonight.
I was all set. I was supposed to mow the
You
lawn
guys are
today, and
welcome.
I should have taken the snowblower out. So instead of mowing, I was blowing.
You guys are welcome.
Yeah,
You guys are welcome. We sent it up to you.
that's it.
Mowing or blowing, it's all.
That's it.
Well, thanks for not sending it to Escondido, John.
Say
The
what?
only thing about mowing and blowing.
No, I figure it's all my fault. I finished off those 2 airplanes. That's surest thing in the world going to force bad weather. So,
Yep.
your new airplane ready to
It's
fly.
up my building.
Yeah, take that. So
You know, something my
Did you
buildings I
get your
can't
new
fly.
engine
You
yet,
guys can
Carl?
tell. What?
Did you get your new engine?
I'm still waiting. Can you believe that? The guy sent it a month ago, and I still don't have it. But it's in the United States.
Where from?
It came in came into New York on the 14th, and I'm waiting for it to get over here to the right coast,
What is it, a
the
stalker?
best coast.
Right goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stalker 81.
Awesome.
You know, I'll send your engine back to you, John, shortly. Okay, John?
Yeah, that'd be fine. It's not, I was just wondering if you got yours yet. I've got to
No, I'm still waiting on it.
I've got to go through a bunch of boxes and try to find my engines. I found some of them, but I can't find them all. I
It's a
got to
nice
find
problem to
that
have.
muffler so I can send it. Oh, I got to find that muffler so I can send it back to them. And I think when they see it, they should send me a new one for free. But that won't happen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I went and
You can't
sent the
find
heads
yours.
back to Russian.
You did what?
What was that?
I'm asking what you said there, Charles.
Well, I said I sent the heads back to Rushland.
Oh, okay.
The two heads I got. Remember, I kept getting the wrong heads for my 81. I mean, the first head I got was for a Stalker 76, and the second one was for an 81, but it didn't fit mine. So I sent those two back, and he sent me the third head, which was machined to fit my 81.
Well, the muffler I'm going to send back, they have a what do they call it? It looks like a washer. It looks like a big washer that fits in there with a smaller hole in it.
Right.
For the dust. Well, that washer must have been loose in there, and it rattled around with the vibration till it finally wore and cut its way through the side, the aluminum side of the muffler.
Oh.
And
Yeah, you should get one back. You should get one free. Yeah, that's bad experience.
Yeah.
Looks like an SV11 to me.
Does, doesn't it?
What's that?
Yeah. Curious how much hacking I'm going to have to do to fit that 56 in here.
Not too much.
You see it there?
Oh, I see it
Shouldn't
now.
need too much. I put a 76 in mine. Or sorry, a 67 in mine.
Yeah, I had a friend who had a Evolution 61 in his S11.
Hey, Robert Whiteley.
Yeah.
Robert.
Yeah, actually, but that's okay.
Oh, Whitley. Okay. Your microphone is way more terrible than it was the previous two times that you were on.
Is it? Okay, I just bought the fancy headphone with it built in, Bluetooth. So I'll go back to just using the iPad then.
It's pretty it's real soft. Is there, because you're only coming in about half volume. At least that's what I'm hearing anyway.
Yeah, it is here too, real quiet. You have to listen really close.
There's a volume control there. It's just speakers. Is that anything? Is that any better?
Better. Yeah, turn it up.
No, I don't hear it. Okay. Okay, how's that?
Much better.
Better.
I think that's good.
Okay.
I think so. We'll have to tell for a few minutes.
Yeah. New toys.
Hey guys, you hear me?
Yeah.
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 I'm going to turn 77 here in a couple minutes.
Oh,
Really?
a couple of minutes. All
Wow.
right.
Wow.
Happy
58.
birthday. Wow.
Hey,
Happy
all right,
birthday. Yeah.
Gary.
77.
All right.
Getting old.
11:59.
Age is just a number, you know. I have a
So
neighbor who's
you're
83 and he's younger than me.
Hey, look at Howard Rush. He's supposed to be going to the world champ.
Wow.
how old is Howard?
70 something. I think he's
17.
around 70. Yeah, 17.
Yeah, he's another one of those guys.
I'm watching the
We
clock,
had
Gary.
BSC at the banquet. There was a guy 89 who was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or maybe
Hey, midnight.
89.
Happy
was
birthday,
88.
Gary.
Happy birthday
you.
to you. Happy
To
birthday
you.
Happy
to
birthday.
you.
Happy
you.
birthday,
Happy birthday,
Gary.
dear Gary. Happy birthday to
And you
you.
smell like
Happy
one
birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like if I
That
don't do
set a
that,
Guinness
it's
record
perfect
for the
fit.
biggest distance between singers of Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
I
It's like
doubt
I
it,
always
not these
tell
days.
people, I know a song. It's like I always tell people, I know a song with your name in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Doesn't
I
matter
like
what it is. I
had to borrow
know a song with your name in it.
That's. I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Happy
borrow that idea.
birthday.
Hey, are you guys in Canada still locked down?
Oh yeah.
We
Are
still
you guys
what?
in Canada still locked down?
Well,
Oh, for
sort of.
sure.
Are you in?
Ontario more than
You are?
yeah,
you guys
we're less
working at
locked down
all?
heavily.
than we are.
I am.
No, I got shut down right away.
I'm working.
They
You're
want this
essential.
doing this and thing.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
Still
essential,
can't hear
all
you,
right.
Rob.
This thing and
Essential,
But
all right.
Hey, Rob, I still can't hear you.
but well, I got shut down
Yeah.
right away over because they figured some silly idea I can't be 6 feet from a customer in an airplane. But on the plus side, within 2 days of applying for it, even though a long weekend, I got my $2,000 a month, no questions from the government. So for being shut down, so and that'll go on
2,000 a
again
month?
indefinitely. So I'm happy. Yeah,
Yep.
no question.
That's what I get. I don't get it.
Is
Yeah,
that
you're-
something
I'm
we have
working
to
and I
do in
get
order
less.
to get
You
that?
keep supporting me. Keep supporting me. Yeah.
I'm working and I get less. That's not right. Apparently, they're going to top us up, though.
Yeah.
I'm essential, all
But
right.
you get to go outside. See, that's the difference.
Well, it's letting me catch up on 30 or 40 years of backlog on playing with things. So, what the hell?
It's awesome. Perfect.
There you go. It's like Dan McEntee is cleaning out his garage, and he's gotten it down to where he's down to about the 20-year level. So he's got another 20 to go before he gets it cleaned
Good
out.
for him.
Man,
COVID-19
that's
will be
fine.
over just in time.
You know, he found a whole bunch of old metal tanks, and I mean all kinds of them. Most of them square for like scale, and that he put them on eBay, not eBay, on the classified on Stunthangar. And I'll be darned, it wasn't 15, 20 minutes. It appears that somebody was on there sending him a PM wanting to buy all those tanks.
All of them?
Yeah, I
He
saw
keeps
that.
it up. Yeah.
Oh,
If
wow.
he keeps it up,
Can
he
never
might
have
make
enough
some money.
tanks.
No?
Hey, you can never have enough tanks. I hate making
Well, that's
tanks.
true.
I can
That's
make them, but
true.
I hate doing it.
Well, I don't like it either, so
Especially for
I
a,
use plastic RC tanks. They work for me.
they work okay.
I
They're
don't
not
actually
bad.
mind making them.
Yeah, I bought that
I'm
tool
pretty
from
good at
Jim Lee to
making
make
tanks. I
tanks.
just don't like doing it.
What was that, Charles?
So I bought that tool from Jim Lee at VSE to help make tanks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that out. So I might make a tank for this plane. I'm kind of undecided.
Is it a brake for bending the metal?
Yeah, exactly.
That can be
I'm
very
going to try
handy.
molding some tanks.
I've
One day
made
I'm
tanks
hoping to
from
try and mold some tanks.
Yeah, I've molded tanks with blocks of hardwood. I've done that. I got Bill Biles was teaching me how to make tanks, and that's how
I'm
he
going to
does it.
show
He was
you
taught
guys
by Ed
something.
Southwood.
I'm
Sure,
going to show you guys something.
sure, go ahead. Yeah, the tank in my red Striga I made.
You know, come to think, I haven't used the metal tank in 20 years.
Wow. Yeah, I like your system you have, John.
It was taught to me by Alan Brickhouse.
Wow, yeah, that's a good system.
He told me that it's worked for him for years, and it's worked for me for years. So
This is one I made for my chip.
Hold it up
That
to the
looks pretty
camera,
good.
right up close to the camera, so we can see it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got
See that?
Okay, nice.
left.
Move it to the left a little bit.
Hold it more to your left.
Yeah, I made that up.
There we
That's
go.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks pretty
I
good.
did the full
Now those ends are kind of difficult to
I
make.
needed a 5-ounce tank. Yeah, it's pretty easy. I made a die for the end caps so I don't have all those cuts on it.
Yeah.
And I just press fit them. I just use it
Right.
or my hydraulic press. And ka-ching, done.
Very nice.
And bending around.
Now what's that
Pretty
hole
easy.
in the center of your tank?
That is for mounting. I've got a tube in it, and I just run one bolt through and use shims as I need to.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
So it's
That's
nice and
neat.
simple
I like that.
to mount it. It's Uniflow, of course.
One of the things that a lot of people make a mistake on with plastic tanks going to Uniflow is they try to run the two lines. They tie them together at the back, and they have the Uniflow and the pickup back close to each other. The problem is that as the tank flops around, that Uniflow is going up and down, and it's changing your motor run. So if you run your Uniflow, I run my Uniflow more towards the center of the tank, and I use one of those filters, filtered pickups that for my fuel line, and I got the vent up in the other corner up here. What happens then is that I'll take my Uniflow line, I bring it out and put a little bend in it. Now, when I got it in place, if I need to raise or lower the tank, I can raise or lower the Uniflow line, and that changes my setting. Well, let's see this when you've got them tied together on an RC tank, and you're raising and lowering your Uniflow every time that clunk tank moves around. and it literally, in my opinion, messes up your run. So mine works.
another
Mine has
thing,
worked
but
perfect for me. Yes.
another negative of tying them together is that make them stiff, and they just the pickup just doesn't move all that well. Because I just put one together trying that, I'm going
Exactly.
to tear it out, get rid of it.
Yeah, you can make the they
Exactly.
have to
Yeah.
move. You can make them so they're coupled, but they still move. I made some actually for an RC plane that the Uniflow was. I had kind of a loose loop connecting the Uniflow and the pickup line so that they would move together, but they could still move like side to side and all that kind of stuff without getting tangling up with each other. So, and then actually in my RC jobs, I finally figured out it really wasn't worth the bother, and I just ended up putting the Uniflow. I used a hard Uniflow in a fixed position, and I
Yep.
just and that really day in day out that was the easiest to use. So
What's the definition of Uniflow?
Oh yeah.
basically
Oh,
the
you
air,
want to tell them?
yeah, the air coming in is always in the fuel, so that it always the back pressure doesn't change or anything like that.
Just the head pressure in the tank always stays the same from the
Yeah.
beginning of the run to the end of the run, regardless of the level of
That's
fuel
right.
in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You know, with this normally a normal tank, you know how as you go along and you start going faster and faster and faster as your tank empties down. That's because the head pressure is changing. And so a Uniflow stops that. It runs virtually the same until the Uniflow uncovers. And the Uniflow uncovers usually just shortly before the tank runs
But
dry.
4 or 5 laps for the end. Yeah, exactly.
Tom, when you're flying
Yeah.
an RC plane, do you have to gradually throttle back a little to keep it at the same speed as the flight gets longer, as the fuel
No,
drops?
If you're not
well,
running Uniflow,
most of the RC tanks have a clunk that goes either, goes to whatever the lowest part of the tank is, whether you're upside down or right side up. And then
Yeah, but generally,
the pressure, the
does the
tank
mixture seem
pressure
to change?
tank pressure is off the muffler.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fitting
Yeah,
on the
well,
right? But
muffler.
that goes in
Yeah, but where does
that
that?
usually goes in the overflow line, and so you'll still tend to speed up some as the tank empties. With the Uniflow, it
Exactly.
remains the same all the way through the run.
So are there just 2 lines to the tank or 3?
There's 3 lines.
2.
I got
Well,
2
For
different
the
actually,
Uniflow, there's 3.
no, wait a minute. There's 3 lines, but one of them is plugged. All right. So
yeah.
the only way
Right.
for the air in is through the Uniflow line. You uncap the third line
Right.
just for filling the tank. Because the one tube goes
That's
all
the
the way to the
Uniflow. Yeah,
top of the
having
tank.
the overflow.
Yeah, the overflow tube goes where it always does, up at the top of the tank. But after you fill the tank, then you cap that one off. Then the Uniflow line, whether it's on muffler pressure or not, always goes into it's the one that stays in the fuel all the time. That's what keeps the pressure constant.
Right.
But it's to atmospheric pressure.
It can be atmospheric or it could be muffler pressure.
From the
You
prop
have to
wash.
draw it.
Okay.
There's a bunch.
When you
let
got
me
draw
say
it
it first,
when
and
you
then
got it,
somebody can correct me. Most people use forced
okay, go
air
ahead.
from the prop wash with the forward pointing brass tube just open into the prop wash. Some people tuck it around behind the engine to where it's in steady, non-changing air, but it's always atmospheric pressure. It's, I guess, God, now I got to think about the theory of Uniflow for a minute. But like I said, most people do point it straight into the prop wash. I have plugged them into the muffler, but you've got to make sure that you've got some overhead air in it. If you fill it lipping full, then the pressure will change. if you try to use muffler pressure on a tank that's lipping full.
So on a Uniflow tank, do you fill through the Uniflow line?
You can, but you got to watch out because it'll scoot back.
Yeah.
I clamp off of the line to
open
the
up-
engine so it doesn't flow back and flood it. Yeah, that's right. Just pop the vent off, or and fill it through the Uniflow tube, or fill it through the vent tube. Either one, but
Well, you can't fill it through the vent tube because won't fuel come out of the Uniflow line?
Yes, it will.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's right. It will.
Yep.
Yeah, unless you run.
God, I hadn't
Tom,
been flying long
answering
enough.
your,
I gotta
answering
get
your
flying. I'm
question,
forgetting
Tom.
how to do it.
Normally, a normal tank will have, like you're using an RC, like even RC Classic, you have two lines. One is your overflow, and one is your fuel pickup, and that's all you'll use. If you uniflow an RC tank, you'll have three lines, and the third line goes. I bring mine in. It's hard and goes to basically to the center, or to that portion of the inboard side of the tank. The overflow is closed off so that the only air getting into the tank comes through the uniflow line, and the uniflow line is below the fuel level, and that gives you a steady fuel feed. If you've got just using the two, you're in a situation where you're going to speed up as you get lower because the atmospheric head pressure is changing as you use the fuel. So that's where uniflows come in, is for stunt work. You don't want, I can remember back in the day when we didn't know about these, as we got towards the overhead eights, the plane started going faster and faster, and you come into the actually before the overhead eight, but you come into the forward clover and that sucker is ripping. Whoa, 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 like that, because it was sped up so much. With a uniflow on the stunt plane, it basically is running the same speed at the beginning and the end, unless you short tank it.
So
The
if you have a clunk tank, then is the Uniflow flexible line and it attaches to the clunk line?
Yeah, I
So
have
it
a clunk
moves with the
pickup.
clunk.
People do it different
Yeah, the
ways.
clunk,
I hate
but the
that way.
uniform line on mine does not move with the clunk, because that changes. I can change the height, the apparent height to the engine of my tank by just rotating the clunk up or down. I can make it appear higher or lower. If I'm running along and I'm running slower inverted, what does that tell me? It tells me I got to move the tank. Well, I don't want to get in there and move the tank, so I just get in there and I rotate the uniflow line. And I forget now which way I move it. But anyway, I move it one way or the other, and it's going to get better one way, and it will get worse the other way. You can think about it. If I have to raise it, I would lower it when it's upright.
I
Anyway,
tried to hook a line up to the clunk to follow it, but I couldn't make that work. It was just too clunky and interfered with each other.
So
in my opinion, that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to run your uniflow. You run your uniflow over to the inside edge of the tank. Here's the outboard edge. The outboard edge of the tank. You run it over to here. And you run your clunk over, and it's flopping up and down here. Your third line goes to your overflow, and it's running up to the upper corner. That's the one you close off when you get ready to run. Now all of your air is coming in through the uniflow line. That's coming in the middle of the tank. The fuel, centrifugal force keeps that fuel up there, keeping that under the level of the fuel. So now the tank, if you've got it tied to it, it works great until you start flopping that thing up and down. If you go inverted, it flops up and down. It can change your engine run. It's
Yeah,
just the same
exactly.
thing as
You don't want
whether the tank would be too high or too low.
Hey,
Huh?
Tom, do you understand now why I run electrics?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, your tank is always the right height.
You had to know that
Hey,
was
I got
coming,
a
guys.
drawing
All
here
right,
if you want to look.
Lenny's got a diagram here. That'll
All
work.
right.
I've got the
Yeah, look at
drawing here so you can see it.
on Lynn.
I got to get it at the right height though. You guys got it here?
When you get it
Almost.
so you can see it,
Okay, I can see it there
Okay.
now. Can you guys see it?
And those are both
So your
hard.
draw is the one at the bottom of the your draw is the one at the bottom of the page. It's right in the center of the tank. So if you're looking at the other, then it's right there. The one in the middle is the draw. The one at the top is your uniflow, which is the one that goes into the tank and then curves over toward the back corner of the tank. Then your
And then-
overflow is the other one where it's just the dot. And it
And
goes
they're wired
from the bottom
together
of your
down
tank
there.
to within. Yeah,
Well, no,
you
they're
soldered them
soldered
together.
on.
Yeah, they're soldered. They're
See,
soldered
that
together.
is the
that is
a
what?
metal tank.
Right. I'm doing a
What you're
metal
showing
tank.
is a metal tank,
Right.
and a RC
So
or
that-
clunk tank is done different.
Okay. But anyway, what you do is you fill through the uniflow. You're filling through the uniflow, and then when it gets to the top, it comes out the overflow. Okay?
Okay, I understand that on a metal tank. And now, now I have a question about the clunk tank because I had a metal tank, but it was not a wedge tank in the movie.
Okay.
And the last time I flew it, when I was flying inverted, it ran out of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have a clunk tank in there, but it's like an RC clunk tank. So it only has two lines. There's one pickup line that's attached to the clunk, and then there's another line that would be a vent line.
And that one
Is
goes
that
up
a
to the top of the
good
tank, right?
Right, correct.
That one goes to the top of the tank. Yeah.
So the
Okay.
clunk,
So
if you're inverted, the clunk would go to, a spot where it could still pick up fuel.
Yeah. Now, what's
Right.
going to happen is that tank, a two vent tank like that, and I used to use two vent tanks like that. But what it's going to be prone to changing settings when you go upright and inverted. Some are more sensitive than others. It may not be a problem for you, but it'll have a tendency of going a little bit rich when the airplane's inverted because the vent then is buried in the fuel and that restricts how much air is coming in. When you go upright, it's free flowing and it's like there's more.
It's in the air.
It leans out. So now I
So
say I used to use those all the time, and you can make it work. It may not be as bad a problem as what I'm talking about, depending on how high it is and stuff. But if you have severe trouble between upright and inverted, then you're going to want to put a third line in, a hard line that kind of emulates what Len just showed, is that little S curve line. That S curve will be the uniflow line. And then that'll just go to the middle of the tank somewhere. And then, like what John is saying, is he also sets that up by rotating that where it goes through the rubber stopper in the front of the tank. Changes where the back of the tube is, and by raising it and lowering that, he can get it to where it's there you go.
There it is.
Thank you, whoever put that up.
You guys see it?
Charles, you
It's
put
me,
that up?
Charles.
Yeah,
You are the hero of the night.
yeah, that's my drawing.
Yeah.
You are definitely the hero of the night. So
I hadn't seen it yet.
Awesome.
I just popped up on mine.
okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
That's
You
it.
see how the uniflow
That makes
line
sense. Is to
that
the
hard needle
outside.
flow line is going to the middle of the tank. Yeah. That way it doesn't obstruct the pickup, the clunk line, and so it's free
That's
moving.
awesome. Yeah.
And it works a treat. I have used it. You see how I've got it bend on the end there so I can rotate it?
Yes.
You could
That
change
is
the
so
height
cool.
setting your tank. It works.
John, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I got to try it.
Tom,
Yeah.
if you look at the stopper, if you look at the rubber stopper, it's got a little nib that you just have to punch through with a hot ice pick or something to put your third line
Yep.
in.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Keep that drawing up for a minute. I want to draw one.
Sure, go ahead.
Why don't you press screen print screen? Take
I
a
don't know how to
screenshot
do
of
Print
it.
screen, that'll do it
Trust
for you.
me, I don't know how to do that. You think I am? Marty?
Pick up your phone and take a picture of it.
On your keyboard, Lynn, there's a key called print screen. Print screen. It's abbreviated. You hit that button,
Yeah, but then
and then
then he'll have to.
Don't you guys mess with me. Just give me a minute here.
Then he'd have to open.
Yeah, not
Then he'd have to
happening.
open a program and paste it and save it.
I got a better idea. Just let me draw it.
You can do it.
Okay, done. All right, good.
Done?
Thank you.
All right.
Ken. Done.
You
All
got
good.
you got a
Is everybody
chainsaw
done?
that you don't. You're like the guy that's got a chainsaw that he doesn't know has a motor on it. He just pulls it and saws a limb forth with it with a.
Yeah.
Now you know why I don't go. Now you know why I don't want to go electric. It took me 40 years to figure out how to run a glow motor. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that. I heard
Charles,
that.
Charles
I
Carter,
heard
that
that.
was
Oh, yeah.
heroic. Thank you very much for posting that.
Thanks, Charles.
Oh,
Thanks,
you're
Charles.
welcome. You what's the saying? Picture beats 1,000 words.
We've been collectively waving our arms for the last 15 minutes trying to get that picture. All right, trying to describe that picture. So,
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, that was impossible to put into words.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
So
1,000 words on the subject.
Yeah, one picture.
Gee, I knew what I was talking about. I just couldn't get it out.
So on this
Yeah,
thing,
me
I've got
too.
like basically a choice of three.
Couldn't hear you. Say
What's
it again,
that?
Rob.
You real?
Saying now on this SB11, I think I got a choice of three. I've got a Brodak 6-ounce, which I'll take apart because from what I've heard about the Brodak tanks, the quality isn't all that good about the Unifo attachment and crap in them.
Just
Or
put
I've
it in.
got
It'll
an
be
RSP,
fine.
yeah. Or I've got a round square tapered whatever 6 or a slant style. So maybe I'll try them all. What the hell? This engine though, Len, have you flown an
Yeah.
SB11 or is anyone? Do you use?
No,
I have
Okay.
one. I have the same airplane.
How much engine
No, I just
offset do you run?
don't. I didn't run. Just a very smidgen, if any. Almost none. Just a hair.
Because with this 56 dropping in there, it just fits. So
Right.
I'd have to grind a
Okay.
fuse if I put any offset in.
What size
So-
prop are you using? Roughly.
Well, I'm gonna start out with the 12.5, work around up and down from there.
You'll be
Probably
fine.
up.
You won't need a Raby rudder or anything like that at 12 inches. You'll be okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Once you
most
get
of
above
it running
13.
up in the 13.
Yeah, see, once you get over 13, you really want to put a Raby rudder on.
Yeah, there's
Otherwise,
no
you're
way I'd
going to
be
have.
running anything bigger than a.
Okay. You're fine.
Yeah, that sounds
Good to go.
The cowl, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
cut so much of it, it'll look like a windy airplane.
I scrapped the cowl and built a wooden one and then fiberglassed it.
Well, this one is wood, but it's actually built
What?
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, Len, the new
Is that an ARP
SC11s
or-
were all wood.
Yeah, it's an ARP.
Oh,
It's an ARP.
Wow.
Is that an ARP?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm
See, I have an
really
old one.
impressed
It's that
with
old. Oh, that's nice. Almost
There's
as
a
good as
little
the
bit-
one I made. Maybe better.
There's a few things I'm going to change. Like there's no damn way I'm using that push rod from the bell crank to the flaps. And I'm definitely going to bush the flap and elevator horns and probably just run Dubro clevises on it, or the ball links rather. But a whole lot to complain about on the kit or on the package.
Check your bell crank. Check your bell crank and your lead outs, and make sure that they're up to your standards. Because I've heard there's been some problems with the bell cranks and lead outs as well.
Yeah,
so you just want to pay real close attention.
The bell crank that went in the new SV11 is the windy bell crank. It's 3/8 inch nylon.
Yeah.
When people are saying, "Oh, gee,
Yeah,
I don't trust that bell crank," well, those people are stupid.
It's not the
That's
bell
all there is
crank.
to it.
Yeah, it's not it's
The
not the
lead
bell
outs
crank.
are always a good thing to check out. And but even then, they had tubing through the through the bell crank and everything like that.
Yeah, that's
So they, it's always a good idea to check it.
Well,
but I think you're going to be all right with that. So I don't know.
I got
the lead out.
The bell crank that I was talking about was the bell crank that was in there about 5 years ago.
Yeah, the second ARF maker that Brodak got is a lot better. That's all there is.
Rob's out and trying to get a word in edgewise.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Rob, we couldn't hear what you were trying to say.
Saying that. Oh, I was just showing the bell crank and the lead outs and everything are just fine on it. They're basically like they were saying, kind of like the windy ones. And I haven't done a detailed look at the lead out guide yet. I'll have to get in there with a magnifier or something. But the bell crank, I don't know. Somewhere I've got one of them out of the package. But
what's that
hardware
noise?
wise,
Yeah, mute your mic.
I don't know. Hardware wise, the only complaint I have is that it's the push rod from the bell crank to the flap horn, and that's bugger all to make up a new one.
If it's possible to do it, you can sleeve it with a piece of carbon fiber tube. That'll keep it from bowing, if that's what you're worried about.
I'll show you, Roger. It's not that.
If it's got a bend.
They've got the. Yeah, I'll dig it out here and show you.
Yeah, if it's got a bend at both ends, then you can't do that. But
it's a pretty low grade metal. It's
brother,
the way the bend is that bend is supposed to go into the raw metal without a bushing in the horn. That's supposed to be on the bell crank. They're ball links. So I'm just going to make a new one with ball links on both ends that actually will work, and I won't have to worry about it.
Well, when you attach a ball link to a control horn, it's there's no movement there. There isn't any reason to bush anything in the control horn.
Exactly. But the way the kit is it isn't the link that goes to the horn. And I'm not doing that. So I'll put a ball link, make a new one with a higher alloy or carbon fiber with a ball link on both ends.
I put ball links on all of them.
Well, it almost looks like that bend end is supposed to go into the belt crank and be soldered into place.
The bend end goes into the bell crank, and then it's held in by the bell crank floors or by the wing joiner rod, I believe it was. It can't get out.
Okay.
Yeah, it can't fall out.
And then the ball link goes to the flap horn, and then also the elevator push rod goes to the same screw, so that you have it up high on the they both come off the same pivot point, so you can get maximum throw to the elevator. So you can put a long horn back there too. So
that's what I'm going to do, but that is not how the manual is. How the instructions are. They're on different holes, and the other end is sticking into the horn.
Yeah,
That's how the Brodak instructions are.
the trouble with the instructions is that they wrote it for the old SV11, and the new SV11 is different. It's not one of their better moments, frankly. They should have had the better instruction manual with it. There have been quite a few posts on Stunthangar on that. I posted some pictures on how I did the push rods, for example, and there have been a lot of other people post some really good ideas, some really good stuff on that. I'd suggest you do a quick little search in the ARF folder, I think it is, and you might find something there you can use.
Yeah, and like you were just saying, that's what I was planning on doing.
Dennis, I read that whole thread, Dennis, and I'm just basically gonna do what was in that thread. Other than I'm changing out the ball links for Dubro ball links. That's it, but everything else doing. So
make sure the balls are really free
same here.
too. Some of them are reportedly stiff balls these days.
Yeah, Dubro has been making them really, really tight and stiff because that's what they say their customers want.
Not good when you have stiff balls.
Stiff, yeah, that's.
Stiff could be a real problem.
Not in the balls, right? Stiff is good in the push rod, not in the balls. All right, so yeah. How's that? I think I just got thrown off for that one.
I know we're supposed to be PG-13, but with this Corona and the kids being home all the time, it's hard to find some alone time with your wife sometimes. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
When the kids are here 7 days a week, it's have any of the extra special snuggly with your wife.
That's true. That is very true. My God.
Always
makes it very exciting.
What do we got here? Tom
heard
made a screenshot.
We got to quit talking about ball links. Just getting Mike all upset.
That's it. Hey, Tom, did you do a print screen on that?
I did. I got a print screen copy. I didn't have to draw it.
Oh, very good. Awesome.
That's it.
Wow.
I think Len's jealous, but he did his.
You can email one to Len.
Yeah.
Here's mine right here. And drawn. Look at that.
Holy crap.
Hey, not bad.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
That is great, Len.
Mr.
Calling. Mr. Calling now.
No, I didn't. I use it all the time. It's called a paper and a pen. It works every time.
You can do that?
Yeah.
All right.
So I got a little blurb to go on about this windy bell crank. This is a windy bell crank right here.
There it is.
It's a windy bell crank. There was a big thing about windy bell cranks having problems and this and that and everything else. There's nothing wrong with the bell crank itself. The problem was with the rod that goes through your bell crank. Some guys were soldering them with Stay Bright solder. They were having trouble with them corroding over time. That's where the problem. What is that?
That's some kind of power tool.
Sounds like somebody running a Dynajet. Must be that Dynajet guy again.
No,
running
it's an RC car.
But anyhow, the secret is when you put the bell crank through the 1/8 wire through the center of your bell crank for the pivot. Don't solder washers on either side with flux and expect that it's going to hold up over the years ahead. Come up with a different system. Either use wheel collars and something to hold them down, but don't solder it. If you solder it, you're looking for trouble.
I can't imagine soldering into a rod to a plastic bell crank and not expecting a really bad outcome. I mean,
well, guys used to solder washers on either side of the bell crank so it would never go anywhere. Well, it's not a good idea.
No, I prefer to stack it up with
Okay.
shims or something.
Yeah, I usually just
This
use
is
wheel
one that I
collars
got.
and
Yeah. Okay, Robert, what you got there?
What Rob got?
Yeah, I didn't make this one. I didn't make this one, but it seems to be pretty decently made. They used like
but
a
it's
big flange lead guide that's soldered up at the top end of it, clear of the bell crank,
yeah. See,
and
solder.
I
Hold
think
it
they
up,
defluxed it.
Robert.
Hold it up.
Hold it
Yeah,
up.
there you go. That's good.
Yeah,
Oh wow, that's a big flange. That's cool.
that's how they do it. Yeah, I don't know where they came by them, but I just picked this up from a buddy and thought that was a nice way of doing it. Actually, I just can't
That's
find
excellent.
the source for those
How
flanges.
free is it? How
They're
free is
called
it?
brass eyelets. They're called brass eyelets.
Yeah, but
Right.
where do you find the damn things? I've been looking,
Maybe Sig might have them.
especially with that big of a flange. Especially with that big of a flange on it. If you look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
know
would
you're right.
probably
That's a
try
big flange.
McMaster car.
That's
McMaster
an
But
idea.
whoever made it up, and it's so free,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even have any oil in there, just
Mhm.
as it came. But this is the identical one that's in the SV11 ARF.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just be careful, guys, if you do the solder thing, because it can cause a real problem later down the road.
Sure can.
Make sure you got a jar with baking soda solution in it and scrub it thoroughly, and then acetone is what I do.
Well, some of the guys even said after doing that, years later, they went bad. So I don't know.
No, I think I like Glenn's
Well, I'm
original
thinking of,
suggestion and don't solder it in the first
oh
place.
yeah.
It's very heartbreaking to lose a good airplane a couple of years in, especially when you finally get it set up the way you like it.
Yeah, that bell crank assembly is the kingpin to the whole thing. Bears all the weight in
Or
flight.
back in this, or another nightmare was back in the 70s with some damn good planes being lost to those Dubro and the Goldberg ones. Like Mark Freeman's 46 powered Spitfire was one of them that sailed from that. And I never used one of those quick links on a stunt plane or anything under stress. Because there's just been way too many failures with the, you'd think it'd be that little tiny pin, but it was actually the shaft with the threads. They were too sloppy and crappy on them.
Yeah, ironically,
Top Flight Nobler? The ARF?
Might be. No, I'm talking way back before then. That existed back in the early 1970s when they first came out with the quick links. There was
There's good ones and poor ones.
Kind of expose.
Yeah, ironically, there were people who, when they became available, they started using the lengths that were made for the 440 rods, thinking they'd be stronger. They probably should have been, except that the threads weren't cut as well. And the 440 rods are actually more prone to failure than the 256s were. But yeah, Robert, you're right on target. The failure was in the rod and in the threads, really, not even in the length. So I don't know. I use them all over the place. I never had any failures, but I was very careful about how I used them, and I always use things like long control horns and stuff like that. So I always tried to keep the stress out. And yes, they usually had hatches, so I could take a peek and see how they were doing. But
and they also strongly recommended a lock nut on.
Yeah, a lock nut or something to keep again that protected the threads, because it would take the vibration and stuff like that would wear the threads out. So
All my planes now, all the push rods are 90-degree bends. I don't use any ball links or quick links or any of that stuff anymore. I stopped
Yeah.
using it.
Yeah, I think I'm
because
going
I
to be
don't trust
getting.
them.
I've been using the ball links, but I think I'm going to get out of them too. They're it just too many of them seem too tight, and they're so big and clunky. They're hard to do a clean installation on. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally.
yeah.
I have a pair.
Well,
I have a pair of pliers. I have a pair of pliers with a rounded edge, so that way when I bend them, I don't kink the wire.
Mm-hmm.
That way it gives me a nice, clean, rounded type bend. Or I put it in my bender. I have one of those little benders that you can buy commercially. Either one. But I don't just bend them with regular pliers because otherwise it makes the kink too sharp and it can break off.
So did you machine your pliers, or did you buy them that way?
I machined them. Yeah, I machined them. I rounded the edge over on them.
Very good.
Not very much, but
Good
just a
idea.
little wee bit at the edge.
That's a great
I'll
idea.
show you.
Yeah, please do.
I think I was reading, or Paul Walker had decided to get away from ball links completely because he couldn't tolerate the drag he was getting with it. That
Well,
you know, especially some of the ball links. Dubrow said, I wish Steve was here. He's the one who told me about it. So Dubrow told him that they were making them really, really tight because some of the guys flying giant scale wanted that. They thought that they had, less trouble with the control centering and stuff like that. But realistically,
I
they probably
remember
had
that
more
night.
trouble. Yeah, they had more trouble with it centering because there was always that friction to overcome. So
With electric, it's even more critical because with ICs, you got enough vibration.
Yeah, you got
to
a little
get the
bit of
control
outside
to
noise in there. Yeah.
fall into position, but electric is no vibration at all. So any stiffness is exacerbated in electric.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys can see this or not, but if you look at that, you can see it's rounded at the edge.
Oh, wow.
Whereas the other side, see, it's flat.
Yeah, that's good. That is
And
great.
that way when I bend my wire, it doesn't kink it over too hard. Just it's softer on it and doesn't stress it too much.
Yeah, I like that.
Works really well.
Good idea.
Yeah, works really well.
Great idea, Len.
Thank you.
I'll send you a set.
That's a great idea.
I'll send you a set. Can you radio some off for me?
Your mic's cutting out, Dennis.
Oh, that's all right. I was just making a smart ass remark. So.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what
Hey,
we do on here.
Len, do you anneal that wire before you bend it?
No, I don't do anything to it. I just bend it. I never heat it or
Len,
anything.
how do you adjust your linkage?
I'm sorry, say again?
So that if you need to make
Okay, so here's the
wire
deal.
for your.
I know. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I do it. When I do the wing, right? I make the push rod to the flaps, no problem. The length isn't quite as severe, but you try to get the bell crank centered, of course. If you're really close, you're close enough. But when it comes to the distance between the flap horn and the elevator, I bend the wire very close to where I want it, and then I hook it all up, and then I move the stab, whatever distance back or forth to get it perfect before I glue it in, while it's all hooked up. That way you don't have to try and hook it up after. You'll never get it that good. Nobody's that good with a pair of pliers.
Yep.
I make my final adjustment when I'm gluing the actual tail in. I move it a bit back or a bit forward until I get everything perfect, and then I glue it in. Done. And then I never touch it.
And if you watch the Al Raby videos, he goes into that in detail. He never uses a adjustable connector. It's always a bent wire on all the bells.
And I do the same thing. And the good news is I've never had one fail.
Well,
that's true.
Multiple pieces have multiple failure points. So
yeah.
Well, that's right. when you got all these threaded things and things that have to have movement all the time, it only takes one to go bad and you're out of luck.
That's it. The failure modes aren't
Yeah.
very pretty. So
No.
Yeah. But I think I might go with the article that was in Stunt News that Paul Walker had, where he just basically cut off the ball, kind of a thing on the ball links, and made it so that it's basically just like a bushing, but it's adjustable.
Okay.
You can adjust the length, but the ball is no longer spinning. I might do that on this plane.
That'll work.
But I still like the adjustability.
hey, Len, re-aim your camera. You look like Kilroy. So.
Oh. Thanks, Dennis.
You had re-aimed your screen there when you were showing off your picture before. So.
Yeah.
Hey, on a different subject, I got Mike. You still there, Mike?
Now he is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Hey, I think it was you quite a while ago. You were talking about McCoy Blueheads. I think you mentioned they were a combat engine or something. Because I've got some people have talked that they're converted RC, but it's not. I mean, it's got a Cassian Venturi. I just happen to have one, and just
That
wondering, is that so? Is that
That would have been Al Ferraro that was talking about McCoys. I never owned a McCoy in my life. Never.
okay?
Not one.
The Bluehead McCoys. The Bluehead McCoys are all RC engines. If you have a control line engine with a Bluehead, I would think that happened after that was an aftermarket or after home thing. So I don't recall that they ever made them that way. Yeah.
Hangout.
I can't tell it.
On Hangouts
is that a lightning bolt? Is that the lightning bolt crankcase or is that the shiny case?
No, that's a semi-shiny case. It just says McCoy 35. No lightning.
Yeah, that's got to be aftermarket. Again, I think the Blueheads, I think were all lightning bolts too. So, although I'm not dead certain about that.
Yeah, Mike?
Ferraro that comes on here was talking about the McCoy lightning bolts and what a good stunt engine they make. So you might be confusing me with him because he said he's reworked some of the lightning bolts and it's the best stunt engine that he's ever had. So Al would be the guy to ask about the McCoys because he's done a lot of work on them. If he ever gets back on here again.
Nothing with this engine. This came with a really crappily built Sterling Spitfire that I traded a 3/4. Really no nothing engine besides the fact I got it. That was an airplane that fortunately was never had the lead outs hooked up because it would have crashed on the first flight.
If I ever say that a McCoy is the best stunt engine I ever had run, I need you boys to take me out back and just lay a beating on me.
Well, the point is the McCoys were a really good design. They had terrible metallurgy and stuff like that, but a good McCoy, especially a good McCoy 40, was as good an engine, as good a stunt run as you could find.
Right.
For about 3 or 4 dozen runs, or 3 or 4 dozen runs, or one lean run, and that was it.
That's right. It's all over.
Yeah, the 35s and the 29s are actually a little tougher because the 40 they had boarded out, and the sleeve was just paper, and so they had like no resilience in them. But now the other thing that was good is if you could take one of the heavy case McCoys, take the top end of that, and put it on the old crankcase, so you didn't carry the extra weight. So that was a really good engine.
Probably pretty good. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, because that had the Dykes ring in it. It was a good design Dykes ring. And again, they had some trouble with the metallurgy and stuff. The rings you have to go through. My dad was running one of those that he had rebuilt that way. He got tired of fighting the steel piston. He rebuilt it with the Series 21 top end, and he put a new ring in it. That thing would outpull a Tiger 46. And the longer he'd run it
Wow.
fly it about 24 times. By the end of 24 flights, it would match up to a Fox 35. You know, it was.
Oh no.
Take it apart, put a new ring in it, run it once or twice, and that thing was a bear.
Are you talking
Go figure.
Yeah.
talking about that Testers McCoy one with that really ugly block crankcase, Dennis?
Yeah, the Series 21 was the one with the big heavy
Those were probably
crankcase. Yeah,
probably one of the ugliest engines ever made. Yeah.
yeah. At least until OS came out with their X series, but yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm not a big fan of the new OS engines. I suppose they do what they're supposed
No,
to
me
do. But
neither.
what the heck?
Yeah, they're big, they're heavy, and they're
Let's
no
pull
good
them
for
out and
stunt.
look ugly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dennis has gone for a snack.
Quick, grab his microphone and cut the wire into little pieces.
we can hear it now. We can hear him getting a snack. Listen to him.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject of FXs and AXs, what the hell? We'll bring them out.
Oh, here we go. What's that one?
That would be your AX. That's a AX 46.
Boat anchor.
I had an FX 46
Yeah.
that was a badass engine.
Oh, they
I
run
got two
good.
of
Don't
them.
get me
Here's one
wrong.
of them.
I had an AX
None.
46. I sold it for peanuts.
Now, I was saying I had an FX that was a badass engine. Is that very much different?
The AX is going in a. Okay, this is an FX, and this is an AX. Both 46s. You see them?
Wow.
Yeah, hold them for just a second. Mine's still switching the picture up big. There we go. Now I got it.
Have you weighed him, Robert?
Yeah, I did. Let me read it here. Of course, you're going to make me put my geezer glasses on.
Yeah.
The FX46 is 12.3 ounces. But that's with a Venturi in it. The AX46 RC is 13.5 ounces.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of difference between them. Yeah, I've got a special hair scale plane that I'm going to put the AX46 in just for the hell of it to just buzz around with and see how it loop and inverted. The FX,
That'll be fine.
I'm going to try it in my Shark 45. See how it is in my Shark. If I'm not happy with it, I'll put in one of my Super Tiger 46s.
Does anybody know the part number of the OS muffler that was a stunt muffler? It actually was lighter. I think it might have been.
I know the one you mean.
Which one's that?
I'll
write
get
that
it
down.
I'll get it for you.
I like the 762.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because the mufflers here that I've got that were kind of heavy are 873s.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
I like the 762 and cut the stinger off. But that's a small muffler. It's not built for an engine, anything like that size. It'll fit.
There was a 760 that was.
I'm going to check what the strap-on the old OS 35 Max was. I got one here somewhere.
I don't need a strap on.
No, I'm just curious about the weight of it, the muffler itself, though. What the hell did I do with it? Put it in the wrong drawer or something. Here we are.
All right, here's the next free flight
All
bill
right.
on the table.
Yeah, this is.
That's the next step up from the Delta Dart.
That's a pretty big airplane, Dennis.
Mm-hmm. It's like a 18 or 20-inch wing, isn't it?
20 and a half.
Yeah.
22 and a half.
Okay.
Is that a flat? Is that a flat
Look at all-
wing or is it airfoil?
No, it's got ribs. It's got an airfoil.
All right. Cover it on just the top.
2, 4, 5 ribs. So 10 total. And a spar.
Okay.
Pretty big plane.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
this will be fun.
Russ, the weight of the muffler, OS muffler, the 703 model, which is off of a Max 35, is 2.2 ounces.
Okay.
Which say the number of the muffler again? What was it?
703.
Oh, yeah. That,
Charles,
That
were
was the
you?
one that was.
Charles,
That was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
were you looking for the one for the FP40?
Yeah, or for LA-46, but I heard that there was I think it was FP40 that was a stunt
Yeah.
muffler.
Yeah,
and it was
I've got.
lighter than the stock.
Yeah, that's the one. 762. No, 762.
Okay. Okay.
yeah, that's my favorite one.
That's mounted. The number's right on the side of the muffler. 762.
All right. Okay. You know how much it weighs,
I usually
Lynn,
cut-
by chance?
No, because I've got it mounted on the airplane. I just took the airplane off the shelf.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
It's pretty light.
I
It's
usually
pretty
cut
light
it.
compared to the other one, though.
Yeah, it's not that quiet, especially when I cut the stinger off of it. But still, it's a good.
I was thinking about it might fit on my LA-46 and try that.
See, it's a great. That's what I use on my Cardinal. It's perfect.
What are we looking for?
right, cool.
762? Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, that's the one. You have one?
I've got about 30 OS mufflers here. So
You have a
We
762?
don't have
Cool.
the 873.
It's noticeably smaller, and the stinger comes straight out the back.
It's a
The stinger
slimline
comes
muffler.
straight out the back, and there's
Yeah.
no screw through it.
If you can't find it, I'll go down and take it off the airplane. It only takes a minute.
That's okay, Lynn.
I don't mind. It's no
I got two or
big
three
deal.
of them.
Well, I'm looking because I may have one, and if I got one, I'll send it to you, Charles.
Oh, that'd be great, Mike.
Hold
Got
them
a
up.
lot of, I got a lot of 30-30s.
Yeah, they're the shitty one. They're the big clunky one.
30s.
Well, even then, is that the
Yeah.
one that you can take the baffle out of to lighten it up quite a bit? Wasn't there one that you
I'm
took
not
the
sure
baffle
it
out?
ever had a
to-
baffle in it.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever had a baffle in it.
I've got
I don't think so.
an
You got it.
843 here. well, 843. Well, that's like an odd number of everything that I'm looking at.
It is. It is odd.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna go get the other
Yeah,
muffler.
the mufflers on my,
I know the one you
mufflers
want,
on
Charles.
both of my FX
Okay.
are 8.7.
Hang on.
All righty.
My
No,
FP40
all
has
I
an
got-
8. My FP40 has an 843 on it.
Okay. Well, now, was that FP, the
That's
RC,
what
or
I'm-
was that the stunt one?
But this is an RC motor.
Okay. Yeah, the stunt
what
one,
I'm
they put a lighter muffler on it.
That's what I'm holding right now, Tom, is an 843, and then I just found another one that's an 892.
Huh.
And it's a 40-46 motor. So, but I only got two oddballs, an 843 and an 892.
The 843 weighs 2.5 ounces.
And Charles, well, that's way better than the 873, which is stock with the FX.
This 892 is pretty light. This 892 is lighter than the 843. I can tell you that. I need to go weigh
How
it.
much does that weigh? Yeah, weigh it. And then Lynn's getting the 762, so we
It's
can
a Henway.
figure out this.
It's a Henway.
And then I've got an
Hang on.
873 here, which is stock with the FX 46, and that's 3.4 ounces. Kind of heavy.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I have a muffler off of a Super Tiger 51, and it was like, if I remember correctly, it was 6 ounces or something. It was ridiculous. It was a boat anchor.
Not to mention uglier than hell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was. But I had it on a top flight score, and the top flight score was so tail heavy that it did serve its function. You know, it kind of helped me get the plane kind of balanced.
Yeah, for my 56s here in this SB11, I'm probably just going to make a tongue muffler.
Yeah, that'll
Depends
work.
on how nose heavy it is. If it's really tail heavy, I'll throw on this muffler off of my OS 65. But it's bloody heavy, but it'll fit with a strap.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be too heavy, Robert.
Oh yeah, it's monstrous.
So,
no,
Charles-
on the scale here again. Yeah, it's 5.1.
The 843. The 843 is 2.5 ounces.
Yep.
The 892 is right at 2 ounces.
892.
So probably
is at 2
not
ounces.
still-
Okay.
2 ounces. Yeah,
right.
I can feel them in my hand. It definitely. And I bet
Well, you
if you
can feel
took
a
all
half
these
ounce.
fins off, man, you could shave a. Yeah. But everything else I got is the 30-30s and 30-20s, which are the tanks.
Okay.
The heavy ones. How about these bad boys, man?
Oh, those foxes.
Foxes.
Yeah, that's a slanted fox, and that's they're both slant. Well, yeah, it's weird. One is slanted right at the mounting part, and then the other one. Yeah, I'm sure I got these either for nothing or $1 at an RC swap meet.
How much do they weigh?
And I got them because. Oh yeah, they're probably 3.5 ounces, I would guess.
All right, here comes.
But I know some
comes
guys
the
look for
70.
these. I've seen them gone for crazy money on eBay. I've seen guys pay like $30 for one of these mufflers. I need to put those on eBay.
There's a 762. Lynn's
Yeah, you
holding
do.
it up now.
There we
Let's
go.
see, Lynn.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. It even looks light.
Okay,
you have a gram
Charles.
scale to weigh it by chance?
I've already weighed it. I did it in ounces. It's
Okay.
1.7 ounces.
Wow, that's the winner.
Oh, wow.
I've got one that, along with, I've got one that not only has the stinger cut off, but all of the ridges have been machined off, and it's eggshell thin all the way around.
So
Thank you,
in
Lynn. Now
comparison to
don't
the
forget.
30-30, in comparison to a 30-30, which is 3 ounces.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Lynn. That's
So you're saving an ounce.
Yeah.
No problem. You're saving an ounce and a third.
Wow. Have you guys ever heard of the Bob Whiteley muffler? Bob
No.
Whiteley took one of those OS mufflers and he machined off all the fins and he cut the stack down. I'm not sure what the actual weight ended up being, but it was dramatically reduced. And it's
Yeah, that's what Rusty was
referred
just
to as a
saying.
Bob Whiteley muffler.
Yeah, if you did
Well,
those tricks,
like what Rusty was just
Box.
talking about.
yeah.
Box o' mufflers.
Wow.
Okay, hey,
Wow.
I found one of
So
my.
many damn things. I got so many of these because I run the LA 40s on my combat planes, and they always come with mufflers when I get them. Even the swap meet
Yep,
loaders have a
box o'
muffler with them.
mufflers.
You know what? Just go to a recycling place and they'll give it to you for the weight.
Yeah. Hey, Charles and Lynn, you guys got those big engines, right? I come across a 70 in my dad's stuff. I got a 70
Right.
and I was just wondering if you guys might be interested in it.
What kind of 70 was this? Oh my goodness. Woo! Wow.
Look at
Oh,
that.
that is cool looking.
Wow.
That is super cool looking.
My page and
Oh,
Danny,
that's cool.
my dad read the same article as Danny did. All right.
Wow.
Have you seen Danny's Twin Fox? All right, my
Yeah.
dad.
That
Wow.
It's Twin McCoy.
Unreal.
Two McCoy 35. No waiting. Alternate firing.
that
Wow.
is super cool.
Low profile.
Also,
I don't know where you put on that, but anyhow.
that is super cool.
So, Rusty,
Yeah, this one
Dennis,
isn't for sale.
that's a Banjock special.
Yeah.
That's a Banjock special.
But he made
What tell-
Dad made this thing back in the early '60s and stuff like that. Well, there was an article in a magazine about how you could do it. You had a couple of tired McCoys laying around, so
How is it going?
couple of
Is
nights
it
that,
time? I want to know about the timing. Are the pistons, the firing order opposed or together?
yeah, they're
synchronous, or
opposed.
what?
Yeah, they're opposite firing.
How
What's
is
really
it?
funny with Dad ran his 1 days. I don't think he ever did anything else with it. But Danny has his in an airplane. And the funny thing about it is that he starts it up, and the cylinders start one at a time. You can hear them coming on. It's the strangest thing. And he actually has the thing working pretty well. He's got it in the world's crappiest airplane, but he's got it. He's flying it. But
Yeah, that damn Bearcat, he needs a new airplane.
oh, that
Worse than
Bearcat
the
is
motor.
yeah, that airplane
So
is
tired.
gruesome. Yeah.
Danny,
I
how
don't
are
think
those,
those planes ever
how are
leave
those
it.
engines
I don't
coupled
think those
together?
planes ever leave his van. They just ride around with him everywhere he goes. That's what I have heard people joke about. They never leave his vehicle. They just stay in there all the time.
Yeah.
How are they coupled
That's
together?
what they look like.
I think there was some kind of a driver saved off the front engine that went into the rear engine. Okay. You see this here? So there was a new back plate that that grabbed the rear crankcase, but then also I think there's like a drum rotor at the back of this motor that hooked into the crank pin
Okay.
of the first engine, and then so that engine would deliver its power through the crankshaft on this engine. Then it gets the crank pin that Danny's blown that up 2 or 3 times on his. He's had the thing shut down on him, stuff like that. It's a real weak point, obviously, the whole thing, because all of the power goes through the crank pin of the front engine, for both cylinders. So yeah, that's the key joiner right there. Is that there's a special back plate and then instead of the backplate being dished out like this, I believe there's like a drum rotor on that hooks into the crank pin from the first engine.
Okay.
So I don't think you get 1,000 parts out of it. Let's put it that way.
No.
Oh well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
I figured you guys like running those big engines. So what the heck, a 70? That's right up your alley, man. So
yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I have
Darn right.
here's my K77, and that's easy. Taking less space than that one.
I got 2 of those kicking around.
Yeah, same here. I got 2 of them too.
Rusty, you were wondering about baffles in those OS mufflers?
About what? About what, Rob?
Baffles and cutting weight jumps?
Oh, yeah.
In the OS mufflers to reduce
I can't hear him.
point.
We can barely hear you, Robert. We
shit.
can hear you, but you talk.
Maybe the batteries are going. I'll give up.
Your mic died, Rob.
This thing and kill it. Okay, I'll just go to regular mic here.
Yes. Okay.
I hope.
Yeah, that thing. Sound like you're in a little beer can, like you're a little dwarf in a beer can.
The Bluetooth,
Guys,
is that working?
Yeah.
I'm going to say good night.
Much better.
Yeah, that's better.
good night, Tom.
Good night, Tom.
Good night, Tom.
I guess the battery died.
Yeah, good night, Tom.
That is
See you later, Tom.
all that passes for a OS mod, 0.3 ounces.
Oh,
That's 0.3
Oh,
ounces.
really?
No real.
that ain't too much.
Yep. That's the rest of it. Gutted.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not going to save anything. Baffle these cooling fins off might help a bit, but still going to have it kind of heavy. It's pretty thick. They've got these flanges off the side here too. You could probably grind them down. I don't know. A guy might be able to take half an ounce off, but getting one of those other mufflers would probably be the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I tried in mine myself, and it turned out to be a pain in the ass. And so it was not as easy to grind off as I thought. My grinder was a little small for the job. I got a big one on the shelf, but I didn't get it down.
Okay. You ever seen?
Probably just.
Let's see what Denny got here.
What is this? What motor is that? Big Art.
Big Art. Big Art OS 35.
Yep. It's an S35
Nice.
converted to rear exhaust.
That is
awesome.
super cool.
Wow.
Real nice.
Wow. Was that a 35S originally?
Yep.
Or
It was
FD?
Garden Variety 35S. He made this special manifold for it, and he had a guy who was a welder. Good old Generous Motors. If it wasn't for them, we'd have never had anything to fly. But he had a real good welder there at the shop who was able to weld his manifold onto the case, and all ended in a nice round opening. And he took his one of his regular mufflers basically and coupled it in, and that was that. So, but I used that for a season.
How'd it work? Good.
I used that for a season in my second Eclipse, and ended up taking it out because he couldn't get it. He couldn't duplicate it. The guy left the shop and everything like that, and he had a couple other guys just burn the living bejesus out of a couple of cases, and he couldn't get enough. We couldn't duplicate the engine. What's first rule? You just don't build for one of a kind engines, right? So I ended up modifying the airplane back to a side exhaust, but yeah, that was really cool.
Nice, super cool.
Yeah,
Nice
it's a really
novelty,
nice.
that's
It's
for
a
sure.
really nice
Really
piece
cool.
of work. and everything like that. But it was, I don't know. I thought it was a heck of a statement. So, oh well.
It is. When I
That's
saw it,
neat.
That's
I
a
thought it was
shame, though.
manufactured. I didn't think it was a modification.
It's a shame the new welders couldn't handle it. I mean, it's I guess you just, welding's an art. Some people have it a lot better than others.
Well, welding, thin wall die castings and stuff like that. That's where the action was. It was a real, to do it without distorting everything, and then the die casting. Well, OS castings were better than most, but you just had to be really really good at it. But he had just basically turned the
You got to
casing,
be a
turned
true
turned
artist.
the exhaust off to round, and then made his manifold so it had a round to round interface. So he
Yeah.
had what should have been a pretty good seam to weld and stuff like that. And yes,
Beautiful.
he couldn't resist, and I wouldn't blame him. He couldn't resist putting big art on that because damn it, he earned that. But
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
so anyhow,
That is very cool. Thanks for showing it to me.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, your guys' rear exhausts look a whole lot nicer than that, and they're a whole lot more purposeful and everything like that. But that's how desperate we
Yeah.
were for rear exhaust way back
Hey,
when.
that
So
one's got a story
Yeah.
behind it.
yeah. So,
Hey, it was state of the art in its day.
literally state of the art. So
Yeah.
Most definitely.
that's
pretty
it.
cool. State of the art.
State of big art,
State of the
whatever.
art.
Yeah.
State of big art. That's right. State of big art. That's awesome.
I don't know if our YouTube chat box quit working again tonight, or if there's just got good night, Jack, and that's the last message.
Hmm.
Huh.
Hey,
I don't know, I
Charles, is
tried-
that Strega you're building I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I got nothing. Go ahead and ask. What about that Strega?
Yes, sir.
Charles, that
Yeah.
Strega you're building, is it a kit or is it an ARF or an ARC?
It's a combination. I'm building the fuselage from scratch, and I'm making it a pipe too, as well. It's rear exhaust with a pipe, and then I'm going to take the wing panels out of an arc, and I plan to gut those wing panels out completely. I mean, gut as much wood as I can, and
Okay.
put it together. So
Well, good for you.
I just got back to it just recently, so I'm actually at the point. I wanted to ask you guys your opinions because I might not be doing it the best way, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to get the nose ring, be so I have just a 1/16 of an inch between the spinner. What's the best way so you have a real nice nose ring and spinner a result?
Actually, charting that right now.
Yeah, but that's different. That's on the ARF. I still have this fuselage size and a crutch.
Well, you can.
Your nose ring's already installed, right, Robert?
Oh yeah, and you're trying to figure out
You can
where
put sandpaper on the back of the spinner back plate,
Yes,
and then
I'm talking about this, Robert. I got this.
On the back
Okay.
plate of the spinner, build it up with tape to the thickness that you want. Set your engine in place, and glue your nose ring then right onto the tape that's on the back of your spinner.
Okay.
Position, drill your motor mounts. Use align it for your motor mounts using the guide drill or whatever, and then it's going to be darn close anyway. Maybe a touch of sanding.
All righty. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about doing it that way. I was just wondering if maybe someone had a really killer, like, why didn't I think of it kind of a method.
I'll show you another idea.
All right.
Jim Lee, but
you can make a nose ring sander. I mean or you could, put sandpaper on
I
the.
have that. I have that nose ring sander by Jim Lee. It's very nice.
Yeah, that.
Here's one now. Yeah. I think here comes one. I think.
Ever seen one of these?
I have one of those. Yep.
You do
I
have.
haven't used it
Okay.
yet, but I have one.
Okay. I'm going to say that's the best way to true up the front end so your nose ring goes the right place, and then just start. Basically, like Robert was saying, you might have to play some games, trimming it up or sanding it off or whatever until you finally get it. Frankly, it might be easy to do your setups using an 1/8" nose ring, but then in your final analysis, just put in the 16th piece.
I didn't hear the last part. It kind of messed up on your mic.
I'm sorry. My mic keeps giving up. I was going to say, you might do your
setup. That sounds good now when you hold it.
Yeah, you might do your setup using an 1/8" nose ring.
Hey, not sounding good. Hold it. Hold it. It sounds better when you hold it.
All right. How about now?
Terrible.
Not really. It was better a second ago.
All right. You got anything here?
That's good.
I can make it out.
All right. I was just going to say, do your setup with an 1/8" nose ring, and then when you get it where you want it, then put this 1/16 piece in there. Use the spinner basically as a hold down plate. Put a prop, use like a prop or something, tighten it down on the spinner and the back plate so it's pushing up against the nose ring, and it's either shimmed all the way around or something like that at the whatever gap you want. I don't know, 1/16 of an inch sounds like a pretty tight gap to me, but tight but manageable. So.
All right. Yeah, that's what I was working on earlier. Was making up my my nose ring. So that's what I was sanding on earlier today. Was this? I made it perfect to my back of my spinner. So this is perfect to the spinner. And then for spacing, I was going to use those cards you use from hotels. And
don't need to.
It might be a little bit too thin though. I mean, here's a Lego pass card I machined, and I was going to tape that back of the spinner, attach it to the back of the spinner, and then add against this. And then when it's all said and done, I should remove that spacer, and I'll have a good fit. Is what I was thinking.
Yeah, I suppose.
Hey, Charles?
And being that it's a flat. Go ahead.
This is a back plate off a Roadjet that Windy had. And what he did is he glued a 1/16 plywood plate on the back of the spinner back plate. And he used that for every airplane. What he would do is put that on the motor in the crutch, and then when the plywood touches the engine mounts, it's the right space. Then when you put your regular spinner on without the 16th plywood on it, it leaves you a 1/16 space. You can see his writing on there. And that's the one he used. And I use it now for all my Roadjet planes. And if I'm doing a different airplane, I just glue a 1/16 piece of plywood or tape a 1/16 piece of plywood on the back of the spinner back plate. And it works perfect every time.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. That's a great idea. Yep. So next,
I never thought of it. I used to fight with it all the time until I got this from him, and he actually mentioned this to me in his shop. He said, "This is the way you get your spinner fit good every time." He said, "Otherwise, you're always fighting with it." And I said, "Yeah, you're right. I'm always fighting with it because I always end up making it either too big or too small."
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid. That's a good idea. Okay. Even though I don't have a Roadjet, maybe I can just glue one onto a spinner backplate.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or just glue it right on the road. See, and so when you hold the road jet up, like I have a case here with just a shaft in it, and I just push it on there and bolt it into the airplane, and I can sand away, and it doesn't hurt anything. And then I just pull it out, and then I can put my motor in later.
Right.
But if you're using the
Excellent.
actual motor, just make sure you stuff all the holes with something so you don't get any dust in the engine, you know.
Right. 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 Thank you very much, you guys. All of you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Guys, I got to call it a night here, I believe. I'm running out of gas, but as usual,
Yeah,
y'all are
correct.
welcome to hang in there.
It's 1:30 already. I think it's probably checkout time for me too. So
Yeah,
Me too.
I'll
been a good
say
night.
bye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
bye,
night.
all YouTube guys. Don't know where all y'all went, but let's see. We got that is 17 people watching us still right now. Sorry to turn you guys off. Around 14. Sorry to turn y'all off, but anyway, that's a pretty good show. I had the best quality of broadcast tonight as far as picture and sound than I've had in a long time. So that was nice.
Yeah,
And
I tried doing a couple of screen shares and it kept kicking me out completely.
yeah,
So
some people were having more trouble than others. I don't know what.
yeah, I've never had any trouble streaming before, so good thing we didn't have anything like that.
I've been reading. I've been reading about this program 8x8, and lots of people are having more trouble than usual because videos chat servers
Yeah.
are overloaded right now, and so it's going to be probably in a couple of months it'll get better, hopefully,
Yeah,
along
that's
with
it. That's why we
everything
need
else.
this. That's why we need to kick into recovery so we can get back to our usual chats here, right?
That's right.
Get all these people out of our
Oh
chat.
my goodness.
That's it.
Okay, people.
Let's get America back to work.
Y'all
That's
have a
right.
great y'all have a great weekend until Monday. Fair wind, state lines, and we'll see you guys later.
We'll see you
Goodbye.
later, Rusty. Thanks again.
All right.
Sure thing.
Thanks, Rusty.
Good night, Rusty.
Good
Hey,
night.
thanks. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm gonna
Good
jump
night.
myself. I'll see you guys later.
Take it easy, guys.
All right. See ya.
Mike, you still there?